You are now in the arena. Welcome to Gridiron, presented by Underdog.
Woo, woo.
My name is Kinsey, and I am your host, and we have a great group of guys joining me today. One, of course, to my left is the most prolific figure in the history of sports media and the man who has never lost a debate and has some of the best picks ever, Skip Bayless.
Skip.
Our top 5 passer in the history of the USC Trojans, our quarterback, Cody Kessler. Let's go. All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, defensive tackle, one of the most disruptive D tackles in his generation, Gerald McCoy. Yeah. And Richie over here in a new seat. I love to see it. We have got the 4-time Pro Bowler, Richie Incognito.
Let's go.
Wow. So without Akib today, Richie's got some big shoes to fill, and I want to hear some F's and some F-bombs.
I got you over here. Cody, this is our first show together.
It is.
I promise not to bully you like Akib does. I gave that up years ago. It didn't work out for me, so
hey, we've got the offensive connection today. I'm normally the only offensive guy.
We're going to gang up on Gerald.
Yeah,
here we go.
Let's do a team up on Gerald.
Listen, my whole career I took double teams on. This whatever.
There we go.
Look, baby. Okay. You see it said 6. That was in a row. Double teams ain't nothing new.
And how are you feeling this morning about your Bucks?
Man, you know what? This is all I got for you.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
Yeah, you're going to be all right.
It was a beating. It was a beating last night, though.
Yes.
I got to admit,
Yes.
It was ugly. It wasn't pretty, but we'll be all right.
All right. As always, you guys, this show is brought to you by Underdog. And if you are new to Underdog, today is the day. You get $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play just $5 with code GRID. So if you win or lose, Underdog has got a site-wide Kevin Durant gimme pick if you play tonight. So get on that. Underdog is available in most states, Georgia, Texas, Missouri. So go support the show. Claim your bonus. Go use code GRID. Today, of course, we have a packed show. We're going to be talking about last night, the doubleheader. We have Travis Hunter, Dillon Gabriel, Thursday Night Football, and so much more. So first, let's get into last night. Seahawks turned the ball over 4 times and still beat the Texans with a smooth beating. So Smith and Jigma made top 3 corner look like he was a backup in the league. I'm just so impressed with this guy, Gerald. Can you see the Seahawks winning the NFC?
Yeah, I actually can, man. We talked about this yesterday, is how they're underrated, and a lot of people are not putting them where they should be. And I just had it to where they would battle the 49ers for the NFC West, but nah. They fighting for the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Wow.
They got the 22nd ranked strength of schedule. They got a top 5 offense, top 10 defense. And if you look at what they did yesterday, they played the number 1 scoring defense, who's been giving up 14 points a game, and they put 27 on them. You can do that to them. You can do that to anybody. I don't care what defense you face the rest of the year. The Texas defense was giving up 14, and they put up 27. Now, if you look at the defensive side of the ball, they only got to play out of their next 10 games 4 of the top half of scoring offenses. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for them, and the reason being is Sam Darnold. He's playing with so much confidence. And you've seen what happened with Baker and what Baker said, when a city believes in you and an organization believes in you. Sam Darnold, they talked about it last night. He said, I know I'm somewhere they want me to be. They want me here. And he's no stranger to winning a lot of games. He just did it last year with what he did with the Vikings. So with this team, man, I definitely believe they have a chance to win the NFC.
Wow.
You want to go?
Yeah, I'm with Gerald on that. I absolutely believe that they can win the NFC right now for everything that you said, but I do think it's going to be a little bit tougher in the NFC West. I know that the Niners have some injuries right now, and that's hurt them, but they are still contenders in that division, and Seattle already has a loss head-to-head against San Fran. But what's good for the Seahawks is that they basically control their own destiny. They still get to play the Rams twice, who are all tied in first place right now in the NFC at 5-2, and then they play San Francisco to end the year. So if they can take care of business on the rest of their schedule, those games, you guys know, those division games count as 2. So they have to win those games. But I'm all in on Sam Darnold. I'm a believer. I play with him at USC. I've been a believer since college. He does have to clean up some of those turnover issues. And you said it before, Skip. That's been kind of his Achilles heel, is that he has had issues in these big-time moments, making those costly turnovers. It hurt him against the Bucs. Last night he got away with it, had a fumble for a touchdown, had a couple interceptions. That has to be something that he gets fixed going forward if they want to be legit contenders, but there's a lot to love there. And he's getting better and he's improving. And a lot of people were questioning, okay, is he going to pick up where he left off from last year in Minnesota? Can he duplicate that same magic elsewhere? He has shown that he can do that. And a big reason for that is Jackson Smith-Njigba. He is right now, you can argue Puka Nacua, but right now he is the best wide receiver in football.
And I will give you this. When he dunked over the crossbar, I was impressed.
Hey, let's go. He's going to get a little fine and a penalty, but we'll take it.
I know,
it was
for him to sky like that and dunk it easily.
Points.
He's a real deal. The other guy that they have to get going a little bit more is Cooper Kupp. He complements Njigba well. I think he does. But if they can get him going more, that offense is going to be that much more explosive.
Did he play last night?
He did play. He had one catch for 30 yards.
and he threw a pick.
Yeah, and he threw a pick. He threw a double pass. Yeah. Run game's got to get a little bit better with Charbonnet, with Walker. I think they can improve there. But overall, I feel comfortable right now with that offense. But why I think they can win the NFC is because of that Mike McDaniel defense. That defense is legit. It is the real deal. I've gone against that defense in the NFL. I've scouted that defense when I break down film. It is so difficult, and Richie can tell you this, as an offense to get up there and dictate where to send the protection and who's pressuring. And then you think everything's coming from the left, I'll send the line that way, and then you get a safety and a Sam linebacker blitz on the backside. And it's a nightmare. And you saw C.J. Stroud struggle with that last night and take some of those hits because his eyes were in the wrong place because of the way they were disguising their coverages and their blitzes. And that's so tough to go against. Their 10th right now in total defense. Yeah. They're top 5 in scoring defense, but they have the number 1 run defense, and that travels well.
They third in the league in sacks, too.
Yeah, they're third in sacks, and that's because of third down, too. When you get to third and long, you get to third and obvious passing situations, game over against that defense. But they're first at stopping the run, and in November and December and even into January, and if you want to go to the Super Bowl, you have to stop the run in those cold weather games because that's where offenses make their money. So I'm all in on the Seahawks right now. I don't know if I can quite put them ahead of the Lions. That's who I picked going into this season, was the Lions winning the NFC, but right now the Seahawks are making a legit case.
Yeah, Seahawks look good. I mean, they're a well-coached team. Sam Darnold, JSN connection is very strong. Sam looks great. He carried over what he had going last year in Minnesota, playing at a high level. They talked last night about he's in a place where he wants to be, and he's been humbled by the NFL. He's been punched in the face over and over and over. And I think that's what it takes to have success at this level. You know, it's a constant humbling. It's a constant kind of building the foundation, building the house, and then after the season, you burn it down, build a new foundation, and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Really impressed with Sam Darnold, really impressed with JSN, and that defense. They are a nightmare. They got a bunch of guys up front that could stop the run, and then their pressure package is second to none. I mean, simulated pressures, guys coming from all different spots. You know, they could have rushed 4 last night and got after Houston's O-line. Yeah. That O-line is terrible. But they were able to bring a lot of pressure, and what I really liked about them and why I say they're well coached, you see their DBs. A lot of long PI penalties now are, you know, DBs in a trail position, receiver down the field, coming back to the ball, and we see a lot of guys getting those pass interference calls. With Seattle's defense, you see those corners. They're smart. They're downfield, and they're getting close to those receivers, and they're looking back. So they have every right as much to that ball as a wide receiver. So really well coached. I think the path for them to win the NFC West is obviously they got 2 games with the Rams. They got to get one of those, if not get both of those. Yep. And if they were to win the NFC West and get the number 1 seed, I think home field advantage. We talked about it yesterday. Those 12s up there, they go nuts. And that's like playing in a jet engine.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see a little playoff football with the Seahawks getting home field advantage.
I love you guys, and I respect everything you just said, but I cannot see Seattle winning the NFC or the NFC West. And I was not impressed with what I saw last night, even though I will be the first to admit I did pick Houston to win last night at Seattle, in part because Mike McDaniel's Seahawks at home going into last night were 4-8 at home under Mike McDaniel, 4-8 at home. And I thought that Seattle gave Houston every opportunity to steal that game last night, none of which the Houston offense was capable of taking advantage of. So what did I see from Houston? Well, they had 2 weapons, Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz, my ex-Cowboy. And both of them got hurt in the second half and were out. So all of a sudden he's thrown to that little Knoll kid, the little rookie, and that's it. That's all he's got. And they were going nowhere slowly. They were going backward for most of the night because, to your point, they couldn't block anybody. And I don't know, it's not just Seattle they can't block. I'm not sure they can block anybody anywhere, any night, any time. So I watched the team that you guys said could win the NFC go 2 for 14 on third down and win the game. 2 for 14 is pretty horrible to me. It's going to lose you a lot of football games. And I watched the home team turn it over 4 times and get away with it because Houston's not capable of capitalizing on any of those 4 turnovers. Yeah. I watched Seattle at home have 12 penalties, which will lose you a lot of close football games, but Houston couldn't even make it close. And I watched Sam Darnold, and you know how I feel about him, and I'm sure he's a great guy. This isn't about how good a guy you are. This is about your ability to play at the highest level in the biggest moments.
Yeah.
I sat right here and said, Sam Darnold will lose to Baker Mayfield because Sam Darnold will make a late mistake, and he did, and they lost.
He did.
And they had also lost, obviously, their opener to the 49ers at home with the 12s. So they haven't been invincible at home. And right on schedule last night, when it was still a football game in the third quarter, 7:24 left, he just goes deer in headlights. I don't know. You just, obviously, you know this from Pop Warner, you just have to get rid of the football from the end zone. Yeah. And he just freezes up, and not only does he go down, but he loses the football.
But you're in that play, you're still in the pocket. So you know that you can't just try to force something or throw it because then you get a safety if you get intentional grounding. But I'm with you. You got to put 2 hands on the football.
He moved to his left.
And he tried to do something with it, get out of the pocket. But.
And then there's another play with 3 minutes left. Same Darnold, as I call him. And he almost gets trapped for a safety. They gave him the 1 foot line, and it was really close. And it would have made that game very weirdly interesting if you get him down in the end zone and they get the ball back on a punt kickoff.
Yeah.
So I just look at the big picture of this, and Houston was so pathetic on offense. Look at what they did. They gave up the ball on downs 3 times in the fourth quarter where they just couldn't. They had it 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 at their 41, and you just have to go for it. You can't get. You talk about the tush push. You can't get a half a yard. You can't get anything. And then with what was it? 5 minutes left. They have it 2nd and goal at the 1 yard line. 2nd and goal at the 1. Now if you cash it, if you get 7, it's kind of an interesting football game. And they can't. They go backwards into a 4th and 5, and he can't find anybody in the end zone because he doesn't have time to find anybody in the end zone. So I don't know. I respect Mike McDaniel, and I agree with all your points. They're very well coached, but I'm not sure last night was any measuring stick where you say, wow, look, Seattle is a force. Like right now, we haven't talked about them, but the Indianapolis Colts to me are a force. That looks like a force to me where they have arrived No, you don't think so? Boy, I do. I just do. I think that's legit.
You're saying you're not buying on the Colts?
No. And I had them last week as my number 1 team. I'm not.
You did?
Yeah.
And why did it change?
What changed?
Because of who they played. Who have they played?
That's right.
Seriously.
We're not talking about that. I could go in on that.
About that.
I could go in on that.
They got 6 wins. 4 of them of their wins got a total of 5 wins combined.
Yeah, but how are they winning those games? They're outscoring their opponents.
They're blowing everybody out.
145 to 75. That's
they're
plus
blowing
70
everybody out. And then that quarterback that everybody loves.
Yeah.
When he had to go on a drive versus the actual defense they played, he threw a pick to end the game. When they played Denver, another top defense.
Talking about against the Rams?
Yeah.
Against the Rams.
Okay.
He threw a pick. And then they played Denver to go down and get the field goal. They had 8 plays, 7 runs, 1 pass. It was a short pass. He missed the field goal, and it was a BS penalty. Otherwise, they would have lost that too.
But you've got to be in contention to win the game for that to even matter in the first place against that defense.
This is the NFL. It's a game of inches.
Yeah.
So, So is a penalty. A 15-yard penalty is part of the game of inches. That's what I'm saying, but we talking about them as a force. It's they are playing well right now, but a force?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Their schedule has been pretty
Wait a second.
easy.
Do you respect the Rams? Because I'm sure you do, because they came out here to the Rams. The Colts did.
Yeah.
And lost.
Okay.
But you're saying
wait. How did they lose? A.D. Mitchell has a 70-yard touchdown and is going in for a 17-13 lead in the third quarter. And he showboats the football and drops it. After 70 yards, he dropped it, or they're going to be at 17-13. And then it's 20-all late in the game on the last Rams possession. And the slot corner on Tutu Atwell falls down at the snap, literally fell down.
And they only had 10 guys on the field.
And they had 10 guys on the field, and it's an 88-yard touchdown. 88, and that's how they won the game 27-20 over a force.
They beat Broncos.
I got one last point on the Houston Texans. Everyone's asking what's wrong with C.J. Stroud. The offensive line is literally holding back the entire organization.
The whole
that
show.
Defense is ready.
Agreed.
To win. I still believe in C.J. Stroud. I still believe in Nico Collins. They have the playmakers.
Yeah.
But watching that offensive line play last night, that is terrible. We talk about the 3rd and short, the 4th and short. They can't get any push,
they're getting blown off the ball backward.
I'm watching them getting blown out of the water.
They lost everywhere up front.
They lost everywhere up front.
Yeah.
They ran a naked. A naked is literally the easiest play in football. When offensive linemen were on a drive,
exactly.
and they call naked, it's a playoff. It's elephants on parade.
Yes.
All 5 guys run this
Elephants
way.
on parade. We love it.
They can't even block a naked.
No,
they have pressure coming off both edges.
Well, he can't get naked. He takes 2 steps, and he's like,
He's got
I don't have
people
anywhere to
all
go.
over him. Yeah, so it's not what's wrong with C.J. Stroud. It starts and ends with that offensive line. And they got rid of Laramie Tunsil. They got rid of one of the best left tackles in the game and replaced them, with not a bunch of great guys. So this is on the offensive line. That was one of the worst offensive line performances I've seen.
And the Seahawks, I'll say this, Skip, they got to go on the road.
Yeah.
6 of the last 10, 2 are division games. The other 4, Commanders, Falcons, Panthers, Titans. They can win all of them.
Yep.
And then the teams they play at home, y'all's force and the Colts. If you're going to play a force, you want to be at home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you got to play the Vikings. You want to be at home for that. They got the Cardinals at home. So if we look at their schedule, the Seahawks have a very favorable schedule to win a lot of these games. If you're going on the road, you want to play a bunch of these ducks. And that's what they do.
That's what I'm saying. If we're talking about them winning the NFC, I think that they have a path to get enough wins to get that number 1 seed.
Yeah. So, Gerald, 5-8 at home under Mike McDaniel. You like that? You impressed? That's the 12s.
No, I'm not impressed by that, but it's how they're playing and how they look right now and what they're doing totality at home. So if you have what they have, Sam Darnold's barely getting touched. He's only been sacked 9 times. So he's being protected. That's what you're going to need against the Colts when they come into town. That's what you're going to need against the Vikings who can draw it up. I know that Philly just picked them apart, but Brian Flores still can draw it up. So that's what you need. And then you need to be able to counter any other group that can get to your team's quarterback. And that's what their defense can do. You got to play great defense at home. That's what you got to do. Use it to your advantage. Yeah. With the 12s, the advantage of being at home is the crowd noise. So they have to go on the silent. And when you got a defense like that at home, it's good to go, man. And that defense travels.
Baker got 38 on them at Seattle, 38 to 35.
Baker, though.
5-8 at home, that's unacceptable. Because it is. It's my favorite place to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's
incredible.
like playing in a jet engine.
Yeah.
They have to capitalize on those opportunities at home with the 12s. And they're up on the West Coast. You got a lot of teams coming cross country. So they got to capitalize. They got to win at home.
Yeah, they have a shot. Not saying they will, but they definitely are in the mix to win the NFC.
And one thing, though, I will stick with is they got to get the run game going.
Yeah.
That's where Sam Darnold gets in trouble.
Key.
I love Sam. He can make big-time plays. He can make all the throws on the field. When you protect him well, he can pick you apart. But when you put the game in his hands and you put all that pressure on his right arm and you don't give him a 2-dimensional offense, you're almost forcing him to make mistakes. So they got to be able to get the run game going. But yeah, like Gerald said, they're going to get to the tournament. I believe that. They have a path to get to the tournament. It's just, what are they going to do once they get there? If they get home field advantage, despite the record, it plays in their favor. But there's some other good teams in the NFC. But again, I'm not saying they're winning it, but I think we can all agree we can see a path to where they get to an NFC championship game and find a way to win.
You guys can. I can't. How many home games do you win when you lose the turnovers 4-1? Not very often. Just don't.
They got a thing with winning up there when they
but
turn
to your
the ball
point, though,
over.
Skip, And look, they've got to correct the things from last night, but doesn't that impress you a little bit more that they had all of those mistakes
And won the way they did.
Yes. In the NFL, one of the best defense in the NFL, and still put up 27 and won that game. If I looked at that stat sheet at the end of what the Seahawks did alone, I would say, how much did they lose this game by? They still found a way to win. You can blame it on the Texans' offense, them not getting going, but Seattle's defense is equally to blame for how much they struggled on the offensive side of the ball.
I guess so, but to use one of Richie's favorite words, the Texans' offensive line is ass, right?
Ass. Yeah. I mean, that is ass. That was.
I mean, come on.
I was jumping out of my chair watching them. I mean, they're just not technically sound. They can't get it going. To build off what you said, they got to get the run game going. They got two studs. They got Charbonnet and Walker. Those guys are ready to go. They got some young pieces up front. Shout out Gray Zabel, rookie offensive lineman. I watched him in the preseason play my Raiders. This kid's a stud. So they got some parts that'll come together, but they definitely got to get the run game going if they want to make a deep run.
And I thought you were back on the 49ers bandwagon in the West, right?
Of course I am. I didn't say I support the Seahawks. These boys said. I can't support the Seahawks. Are you kidding me? They also lost to the Niners. So
I wish you didn't support the Bucks.
I know. He's blaming the Bucks loss on me because I took them. Oh, come on. But yeah, the Seahawks didn't beat the Niners. So how are they going to win the NFC? I'm sorry.
And they still have to play.
Well, they got to play them again.
They got to play them again. But we'll see. I'm with Skip on this one. But let's talk about a team that, in your words, is also their ass. The Dolphins were blasted 31-6 at Cleveland on Sunday, losing a third consecutive game. So they're now 1-6. Okay, so Mike McDaniel's had this to say. I got to play this because
he's going to take the snaps this week, and he's going to be our starter this week. And my expectation is that we don't throw 10 picks.
Your coach saying, my expectations, you're not going to throw 10 picks? That's crazy. Richie, do you like it or not how Mike McDaniel handled this?
I hate this. I hate the whole situation they have brewing down there.
Yeah.
This is a dumpster fire, and you have McDaniel and Tua throwing bags of gasoline into the dumpster fire. We look at this guy on TV. I do not see a leader of men. When I'm going out there on Sunday and I want to rip someone's head off, I'm not getting fired up by this guy's pregame speech, right? Now let's go to Tua. Tua last week was talking about guys being late, and he's talking about leadership. Well, the leadership starts and ends with Tua because you're the franchise quarterback.
Yep.
Everybody was taking a side on, was he pointing fingers at the locker room? I think when he said leadership, he was pointing a finger right at Mike McDaniel. Because when you have people constantly late in a professional sports organization, that shows fractures. That shows favoritism. Oh, you were 5 minutes late. It's all good. You go out there and play. That, to me, is the biggest fundamental flaw of this entire operation. McDaniel's going to roll with Tua. This offense was built for Tua. He's going down swinging with his guy. He's going to be fired imminently. I saw Mr. Ross put out a statement, and he said he's going to give Greer and McDaniel time to get this right. It's not working. And with Tua throwing up punts to the defense, it's definitely not working. If I just look at the Miami Dolphins, I love playing there. I love Mr. Ross. He was very, very good to us. But what I see is Mr. Ross as an absentee owner. He's busy building billion-dollar companies and developing, right? And if you look at Miami Dolphins' issues the last, call it 10, 15 years, it's him trusting the wrong guys. Him trusting basically to come over and hand the keys to the organization and let them run the show without any oversight, without any pressure. And now we're in a situation where we have Chris Greer, and he's bringing in guys that don't fit the mold. These guys aren't tough. They're not physical. Then you have that as a leader, as a head coach, and this is what you get. You get them dead in the water 7 games into the season, and there's no one saving them. They got a clean house.
Yeah, I'm 100% with Richie on this. I hate it. I mean, why even say that? I get that you're trying to make a joke and make a lighthearted comment and make light of the situation, but you are one of the worst teams in the NFL. There's a time and place for that, and I get that's who Mike McDaniel is, but you can't do that, man. You just can't do that. You're bottom in the NFL in every category in your offense. You're the play caller, and every category of your offense is bottom of the NFL. You have Tua, who leads the NFL in interceptions, tied with Geno Smith, and he has 10 interceptions, by the way. I don't know if that was the reason he said 10 and made a jab at him, but I hate that.
And by the way, that leads the NFL.
It does. It's tied with Geno Smith with 10 right now. But you're sitting there making jokes when you have players in the locker room that are busting their ass for money, for their livelihood, for their future, and you're up there at you could say the Jets, but one of the worst teams in the NFL, making light of the situation. It's not fair to the players. It's disrespectful to the fan base because they're not having fun. They're not making jokes right now. They want a winner. They want a team that they can cheer for, and you're saying those type of things. And look, I'm not the biggest Tua fan in the world, but now you just created a distraction furthermore for your quarterback after Tua just got done last week calling out players or Mike McDaniel, whoever he said for those player-ran meetings. Your quarterback and your head coach are the leaders of your organization, and they are creating more distraction than they are fixing problems right now. It's unacceptable. It's a ticking time bomb. I don't know how much longer Mike McDaniel will be there or Tua, but they needed to make a decision very soon.
It ain't never gonna work. It's just not gonna work. This offense, this style of offense is never going to last because football is football and the fundamentals of football don't change. You can't create this new brand of offense where we're just going to go read here, and then this true progression offense, I don't care who you are. You have to have a quarterback who's very good off schedule to make it work. Talked about with Jalen Hurts. He's very good at playing off schedule. That's not Tua. Tua don't want to run no more. He barely want to get hit. He's scared. If you go look at those 3 picks, it was all him being a victim of this true progression. The first one was a flat, and he never read the defense. He just looked, throw. Yeah. And Cody will break it down. He's just looking and throwing. The one in the end zone, they're showing pressure. Defensively, we're taught direct runs, screens, and flats when you're getting backed up. That's what they teach us. So if we know that, why when you're getting blitzed do you just panic throw and just whatever? He down there somewhere. He threw it to where 3 people was. You know why? Because he's not reading the defense. Right. That's just whoever. This is my first guy, that's who I'm throwing to. The 3rd pick, he's throwing up the seam. He never looked at the defense. That's my first guy. I'm just throwing it. It's never going to work because this is the style of offense they play. I don't know if Tua can actually read a defense. Right. Because he's not being asked to. He's looking at his receiver, and if it ain't that guy, I'm going to my second receiver. He's not looking at the shift of the defense. He's not looking at pre-snap alignment. And then if he goes inside, then I'm going here. If he steps outside, then the throw is here. It's never going to work. Y'all talked about like in the locker room and how he's not a leader of men. You need that if you want to improve. What's going to make you change? Nobody's going to follow McDaniel. Nobody's going to follow Tua. No. You're not getting out there publicly and saying what you're going to say about us, and then we're going to come out here and play hard for you. Or we want that guy at quarterback, and this is who we got at quarterback. Right. You know why when these great defenses play, you watch the Bucs, even last night, as bad as it was, when things were against them and the offense kept turning the ball over, you see the defense play hard. I agree. Because they know who their quarterback is. Right. Yeah. They know what Baker is bringing to the team. Yeah. They know that guy's going to fight for everything. And what people forget is you take on the identity of your head coach. That's why Mike Vrabel's teams are always tough. Yeah. Look at Mike Vrabel. Look at how he played and look how he is. Old school, tough. You take on the identity. And when your quarterback is like that, and your head coach is like that, it's never going to work, especially with this scheme. So, yeah, they gotta just. It's a wrap. That's over with. The true progression and stuff like they're running level concepts to half side of the field, right? Rolling everybody out. He's got a deep, he's got a middle, he's got a flat, right? And the reason I say Tua is ass is look at the interceptions. He's throwing it to double, triple coverage. Ridiculous. He's literally just throwing up punts and. You can't do that. You can't turn the ball over and then you look at the leadership, Tua and Mike. Yeah. You can't get behind them. You can't rally around them. Yeah. And to your point, these are rookie-level concepts. These are what they're running right now with Dillon Gabriel in Cleveland in that game. And I went back, watched all 3 of those picks. That first one, simple concept. You have a flat and you have a spot by the receiver. Already Campbell pre-snap is outside leverage on the flat. I know, okay, I'm eliminating that. I'll take my eyes there to displace a linebacker, but I'm eliminating that. I'm resetting back to the spot route that was wide open. And if that's not there, react off of it and get through your progression. But he's predetermining these throws. The one in the end zone, he drops back, and I know he saw him. You can say the defender was coming, he didn't have vision.
You said 3. There were 4 guys around that basic route, that in cut on the tight end, and he still just throws it. You have to know, error on the side of caution when you're backed up. Throw it away. He had time to throw it away. It was different than the Sam Darnold play to where he took the fumble. Throw it away, move on, punt it, don't make a bad play worse. And then the last one, 100% predetermined. He looked right at the snap. You had a seam concept on the left. You had a seam on the right. He looked right at the snap to get the safety to move. Safety didn't move. Okay, fine. You still have to confirm that he moved, and he didn't do that. He went 1, 2, 3. I'm going to look right like I'm taught in routes on air, come back left, throw it no matter what. And, to Tua's, not trying to knock on him, not trying to kick him while he's down, but he doesn't have the arm strength to make that throw where he can beat the safety, but he's still doing it. You see that safety play over? It's not there. Go to your next option, find your check down, throw it away or run, move on. He's just not in rhythm right now. He's completely lost his confidence, and you can tell Mike McDaniel and Tua are not on the same page.
I like it that you're going left-handed.
I was doing some lefty.
I did
lefty action.
And by the way, I think you could throw harder with your left hand than he can throw with his left hand. That's what I believe, right?
Yeah, and that's that weather,
man. That's the problem.
That's AFC with football. You got to be able to play in that.
So I would like to jump on this downhill bandwagon and hate this, but the truth is it's like beneath my dignity to hate this because it's so sorry and so sad. It's just, you're all exactly right. It's going nowhere. It's going to hit a wall sooner than later, and I think he's going to have to step in at some point pretty soon and put somebody else in the interim just to get them through the night at the end of the season, because this is about as sorry and sad as it gets in the National Football League.
Yep.
Because week after week we get this. It's your fault. It's your fault. You.
Spider-Man, me.
Yeah, that's right. And now we got the head coach taking a shot at the look, like that's it. If I were Mr. Ross, I would say, you know what? I think that's enough.
Right.
I think I've seen enough, heard enough. Let's just stop this now and give our fans a little bit of something to hang on to for the rest of the year. And in honor of our man Aqib, I'm going to quote him today because we do miss him. He said several times on the show, when he encountered a new head coach, he'd go into the first meeting and size him up for about 10 minutes, and he'd know in about 10 minutes, right? Checking him out. And if it's a no, Aqib's starting to look at his phone, like he does sometimes when I'm talking over here. He starts looking at his phone. He's out, right? If I were in that meeting room with Mike McDaniel that first year, that first 10 minutes, I would take one look and say, seriously?
Right.
We hired this guy to be our head coach?
Right.
I do think he has merit as an offensive coordinator because of what he did. The first 2 years were shockingly better to me. And I was out on Tua before the draft. You can look it up. I said no. He had 5 surgeries at Alabama before he got drafted.
Right.
He's fragile. He's a great kid. Not a strong leader, but I think he's got a good heart and all that. That's not what we're talking about again. But I was out on Mike McDaniel from the start, and he's one of those, he's a Shanahan product, where he's with the Shanahans all the way up.
Yep.
And yet, he says he played football at Yale, and I guess he went out for the team and was, quote unquote, on the team as like a 5th string receiver who never played. But he's a mousy little guy who, to your point, he just embraces his nerdiness. And he loves to hit us with these weirdly, inexplicably sort of intellectually baffling answers, what?
Yeah,
what is that? What are you saying? Because that's all he's got. He's got like tricky verbal, that's who this guy is. And yet I give him those first 2 years because they went 9-8 and they backed into the, went to the back door of the playoffs, and then they went 11-6 and they made the playoffs. Now they lost pretty badly. I was 34-31 at Buffalo the first time, and 26-7 at Kansas City in their second playoff game.
Yeah.
But he got Tua to realize if you've got Tyreek and you got Waddle and you got this track team, just throw it immediately. Let them throw punts.
Yeah.
But if you throw them fast enough, if you get rid of the ball in 1.3 seconds and let them chase the punt, they can often outrun two DBs,
Get
right?
the ball to your playmakers.
Yeah. And so Tua was okay in those first 2 years, and now he's just regressed. And he's lost his nerve because you can't blame him because he just got rocked so many times, and then the world said, you got to stop. And he said, no, my parents and I have talked to the doctors.
Yeah.
We want to take the risk. He loves to play. I got it. But you can't play that position without your guts.
Yeah.
You can't because you'll hurt your football team too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to understand you have to stand in the pocket and make throws.
You just do.
You're gonna have to, and if you don't have that, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
No.
I'll go back to one last thing, right? We have all these great offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators that get thrust into the limelight as the head coach. When they go into that first meeting, you are walking in front of 53 killers. You are walking in front of some men.
Agreed.
And we are staring you up and down every single day. And we're trying to find one little weakness, one little soft spot. You look at McDaniel, it's just soft the entire way. It was cute when it was working. It was great when it was working. Everyone's having fun. McDaniel's this new age coach, this, that, and the other. Now that things are going bad, this is a glaring weakness. And he's lost the locker room. These guys can't get behind him. Mr. Ross needs to make a change, clean house, just to give the fans some hope down there.
And that's a perfect point. And I fell for it too. I was a victim of it. When he was in Miami, started winning games, had the Gucci's on, and the sweats and all that outfit, and everyone was like, all right, man, this guy's perfect for Miami. He's perfect, the attitude he has. But the problem is, anybody can do that. I don't give a shit what happens when you're winning. I give a shit when things start going bad. How can you lead this group out of those dark places? And he doesn't have that. And we haven't seen it yet. And it's going from bad to worse right now. And it's going from the head coach to your quarterback to the rest of the team. And who I really feel for right now is the fans and also the other guys in that locker room who do care and want to go out there and put their body on the line every week and make plays, and they just don't have leadership at the top.
Gerald, real quick. How inspired can a defensive player be to play for a Mike McDaniel?
You won't be.
Yeah.
You won't be. And then when they call in defense, when he says you lose the locker room, you have to want to play for the guy who's coaching. When he comes in and he talks to you, it doesn't have to be a rah-rah speech. It's not always about a rah-rah speech, but you have to believe in him, what he's saying, and when things go a certain way, you have to want to play for the guy who's leading you. When you lose the locker room, it don't matter what you call defensively. You be like, man, we running this again, or forget that, man. I'm about to, hey, y'all cover, man. I'm rushing. Like that's just what happens.
Right.
It's just you don't want to.
Because you're not worried about repercussions.
Yeah, you don't care anymore.
So last night I watched the video of Dan Campbell in the locker room after that big win for the home team, for the Lions, and they're playing with like 4 kids, all backups in the secondary, and he just commanded that locker room, and he said, I'm just paraphrasing, but he said, if we play defense like that, we're going to win every effing game.
Yes.
And I believed it because I would like to play for him.
Yes.
And that guy is
Take on
scary.
the identity of your head coach.
Because through a brick wall.
I think he could whip about half the team still.
No doubt.
Dan Campbell's a great example because they were in a dark place, and his leadership brought them out of it because of the type of coach and the man that he is. And those guys, even when they were winning one game and they were struggling, I mean, they were celebrating, I think, a 1-10 or 1-11 game when they won at the end of the when Gerald got through a touchdown in one of Campbell's first years. But you could see the belief in that team to where, all right, we're here right now, but this isn't the end result because we believe in that head coach.
Right.
When you have a guy like that, you have a true leader.
Yeah.
So raise your hand if you think they should fire Tua and Mike McDaniel tomorrow.
They can't get rid of Tua. I mean, he's got to be the starter until they take him out. But
you can bench him. Yeah, they'll bench
Greer,
him. You can't get rid of him.
And McDaniel gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Okay, there we go. Tomorrow.
If I saw that,
I
thought it was going to happen.
I'll do that a couple hours from now.
But if I
before
saw
they
that,
start game planning for tomorrow when they do run game.
Okay.
If I saw that with McDaniel throwing out the Tua stat line of 10 interceptions, I'm literally picking up the phone and I'm like, get your shit. You're out of here.
Yep. Yeah.
You are out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, there we have it. Let's move on to Gerald's Bucks. Because your poor Bucks. I mean, I'm thinking about Mike Evans, though.
Yeah.
Mike Evans comes back for a quick second, has that beautiful catch, but couldn't hold on to the ball, obviously, because he breaks his collarbone. So sad. I'm devastated for him. I really wanted him to break that record. I've been rooting for him. Baker had a tough game. I don't know if it was the Lions' defense or if it was Baker's play, but Gerald, how far can Baker really carry the Bucks without Mike Evans?
I still believe they can be 13-4. You know,
Do you?
might, yeah,
Wow.
for sure. Because here's the reason why: the schedule is favorable still.
It is.
It's very favorable still. Mike hasn't been there, and they've still been playing well.
Right.
Yep.
I think the bigger issue was Emeka wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
If he was healthy, because if you notice, they was just doubling him and making everybody else beat you.
Yeah.
But it was a matter of what we just talked about with Dan Campbell. He did an interview at halftime, and he said, we got a lot of young guys in there, and all I told them is, play as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Do your job and trust the guys around you to do theirs.
Yeah.
And that's what happened yesterday. We just took a physical beat. They just beat us at every facet of the game. But the reason I believe that we'll still be okay, everybody has bad games. Baker, he missed some throws, but we turned the ball over. You got to hold on to the ball. That pick, I mean, he had it with one hand, and then he came and said, that's just an amazing play at home.
Yeah, that was.
That's all about
You
who
know,
wants
yeah,
it
that's
more.
just
That's
who wants it
it
That's a
more.
want-to play. That's why I said we just took a beating yesterday. They just wanted that more, and it showed on both sides of the ball. However, this is what gives me confidence. Me and Skip have said all year the defense is not great, but the Lions had multiple chances to blow the Bucs out. Like they could have put up 40, but the Bucs defense, with how they're playing and how they played yesterday, they had a I'm not going to give you nothing attitude. A so what now what mentality is what I call it. So what, we turn the ball over. Now what are we going to do about it? And they held them and held them and held them as long as they could. That team is putting up 33 points a game, and we held them to 24.
Yep.
It's especially in the situations they were in, short fields, multiple opportunities, and we stood up. If we can do that versus that team on the road, I think we'll be okay. I believe in Baker. I believe in this team. It's just a tough day at the office. And it's not like we played the Lions. You picked them to win the NFC.
I did.
And we played them at home on primetime. What did I say yesterday? The Bucs are not great on primetime. They're just not.
And the Lions are.
And the Lions are.
They
That's
are.
what
They
I'm
sure
saying.
are.
So it's just one of those games. But our schedule is very favorable. We have a lot of home games. Baker has played great on the road, which we'll have to travel. So we'll be okay. Yesterday was just one of them beatings. Mecca has to get healthy.
Yeah.
Like, I understand he wants that rookie of the year, but, man, everything you do with your route running, then pulling off from DBs. I mean, he got open yesterday. Baker just, kind of underthrew it. That's very unlike Baker. Usually puts it on him. But he got to get healthy, man. If he's not healthy, but we'll get Chris Godwin back. We'll get Bucky back. So we will get healthy. But if Emeka's not healthy, man, it's going to be tough. But I still believe in Baker in this group.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I said 13-4, I think last week or a couple weeks ago. I'm still with that. And this wasn't a game that I picked them to win. That's why I still feel good about 13-4. I think they can still get there. I think they are legit contenders in the NFC. But with that being said, last night did concern me. There were some issues that they had, and I don't want to put all the blame on Baker. He did some things well. He made some big-time throws. He showed his toughness and stood in there tough, took some of those hits. But he did have some things that concern me. He didn't play like the Baker that we've seen play these last couple of weeks that's been at that MVP level. And a part of that was because of the Mike Evans injury and not having his guys at 100%. He's had some injuries this year with the offensive line, but he was under constant pressure all game long, especially in that second half when they knew we're playing catch-up. We got to throw the football. The Lions pinned their ears back and got after Baker Mayfield. They were 4 of 16 on third down, and more importantly, they were 2 of 5 on got-to-have-it fourth down situations. It's tough to win games like that, but the thing that really bothered me last night was we saw Baker miss some important throws that we're not used to seeing him miss, because we talk about him being one of the clutchest quarterbacks. We're used to seeing number 6 make those throws, and he had 2 on that second to last drive of the game that could have potentially changed the outcome of that game. He missed Tez on that deep over route. He had a deep over. He had a step on the DB. He overthrew him. Then he had that throw to Ibuka, who the Lions went cover 0 with like a hole defender in the middle, but there was no safety over the top. Ibuka ran a great route, got over the top, and beat Whiteside, or what's his name?
Whiteside.
Beat Whiteside over the top. But Baker kind of did a jump throw because of the hits he was taking.
It's a fall away.
But he had time to stand in there, Skip. He still could have stayed in there and made that throw.
Rusher right in his face.
And it would have been a hit, but you can stand there and make that throw. I truly believe that. You know why? Because I know how tough he is, and I've seen him stand in there and make that throw, but he underthrows that. But again, I know we're talking about the Bucs and Baker, but I got to give credit where credit is due. Last night, Kelvin Shepherd, the defensive coordinator for the Lions.
Oh, the heck out of that game.
He is dialing up some game plans. And they got exposed against the Chiefs last week, but he said, we're going to fix that. We're going to come out here and correct this. They were disguising pressure looks. They were disguising coverages. They were playing man. They were playing zone. They were bringing different secondary pressures. Baker Mayfield never got comfortable in that game at any point. He never got in a rhythm. Right. So Kelvin Shepherd deserves a game ball. But you know who else deserves a game ball? Is those backup DBs.
Yeah.
Those guys stepped up.
Shout out
and I want to give
Robertson, my boy.
Yeah, I got to give them all credit. We got Hallett, Mollett, Robertson, Yasin, Harper, and Whiteside. Yes. They deserve to have their name called because they played a hell of a football game. They also deserve a game ball. And you know what I love the most is that Shepherd believed in them. And you could tell in those gotta-have-it situations with the game on the line, he wasn't just playing prevent. He was playing man-to-man. And he was trusting those guys to cover across the board. And they were stepping up and they were delivering. And you guys know when you have a coach that believes in you and trusts you and is going to put you in those situations, it allows you to believe in yourself. And it helps you take it to the next level. And then on the other side of the ball, you mentioned the Lions offense. Got off to an explosive start, 275 yards of offense in the first half. Should have been a different game. Buccaneers only had 58, but where they got hurt is they had 2 turnovers. They had a turnover on downs, and they also had a missed field goal, so they couldn't separate. The second half, the Lions offense stalled out. The Buccaneers played better, but the difference maker in this game was Jahmyr Gibbs. He is one of, if not the most exciting players to watch in the NFL right now. There is not a lot of people in this world that can do what that man can do with the football in his hands. He is, don't want to say that he's been, under the radar. He hasn't gotten the love that he deserved, but we've talked about, guys like Bucky Irving. We talked about Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor. Jahmyr Gibbs absolutely deserves to be in that conversation for one of the best running backs in the NFL. This was 2 teams that went back and forth. They're 2 teams that are potential NFC Championship teams, but the Lions played better last night and got the.
So the question was, do we blame Baker for the loss? No, I don't blame Baker for the loss. He had some bad throws. He had some overthrows. He had some underthrows, a couple turnovers. I think for them to have long-term sustained success, they have to get the run game going. Everything kind of seemed hard to get last night. They tried to run the ball. They put it all on Baker. And with Baker magic, it's him running around with his hair on fire, finding Ibuka deep, finding all these guys deep. So Ibuka wasn't 100%. He wasn't explosive. He couldn't elevate for some of those balls. Tez Johnson's a great player. He missed him on a couple shots. And then all I got to say is shout out to Dan Campbell, Kelvin Shepherd, that entire back end. They're missing all the starters in the back end.
Everyone.
And those guys come out and put on a performance last night. I played with Amik in Las Vegas. He's my dude. When he went there, I was like, this guy fits the mold of the Detroit Lions, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He's a baller.
He's perfect for Detroit.
He's perfect for Detroit.
Who is that?
Amik Roberts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Amik, I mean, the guy, he's a great kid. He's a hard worker. He's
great locker room guy.
Great locker room guy.
Love him as a teammate.
He's a dog. And, we just talked about the Miami Dolphins and how they can't get behind that guy. I would run through a brick wall for Dan Campbell.
You would.
I was in Miami with Dan Campbell when they told him, just show up, hang out with the tight ends. You can coach. Dan was an awesome guy. He played at the Cowboys for a long time. Yeah. And Dan Campbell, people forget, was the interim head coach of the Miami Dolphins. They let him walk right out that building. On that staff was Zach Taylor, Ben Johnson, Todd Bowles. I think maybe Bowles had left at that point, but they had all the pieces in place and they had their guy and they said, nope, we're going over here with this.
So I'm not going to blame Baker for last night as much as I'm going to second your emotions and credit Kelvin Shepherd and what he did, just like your 49ers did on Sunday night, where you're just up against it and your culture rises, where you've prepared these kids because they've felt from the veterans, this is how you handle yourself as a pro. I got to be ready and I got to come to play because we are decimated in the secondary. It's my turn, and it's literally next man up. But most teams say that and don't believe that the next man is even remotely as good as the guy who just got hurt. But in this case, you shout them all out.
Yeah.
They were incredible, and it's hard to play those schemes. They're switching zone man, and they're baffling me. I'm just watching on TV, and I'm watching the replay saying, God, that's good. They look like this perfectly drilled unit, and they got thrown to the wolves, man, on national TV, whammo, against Baker, the hottest quarterback in the league. And they had, this is a weird stat, but it's a good one, passes defensed. They had 12, and I forgot to look this up. I'll do it after the show. But but it's up there. It'll end up being like the most passes defense for the year.
Yes,
it's just a lot because you'll see full games where there'll be 2 total. Like my guy Richard Sherman used to tell me, if you get 3 passes defensed in a game, you've had a stellar game. You've had your best game of the year. So Whiteside had 3 last night, and he got Baker on the one. Baker threw it far enough, the one we talked about.
You're talking about the one to Ibuka?
In the back of the end zone. It's still, if Whiteside's not there, it's a touchdown. But Whiteside, it's a foot short, 2 feet short.
Yeah, no, and I don't want to take away from Whiteside. It was a hell of a play, but Ibuka won. That's a throw we've seen Baker make.
Okay,
he'll make a 99 out of 100.
I got it, but if Whiteside's not there, he'll catch it.
Yeah.
Okay, so every time I look up, I counted 5 Baker throws that I thought were dots that somebody got a hand in on. Where I'm like, where did he come from? And it's one of those, it's Hallett or Mollett or Whiteside, where I'm saying, how can they get there? Because I thought Baker would shred the secondary. I thought it would be a shootout. What's that?
Even the 2-point play.
Yeah, even the 2-point play. They're
that backside dig.
Man, okay, now back to Mike Evans. I honor Mike Evans. You know him. Yeah. Didn't you communicate last night?
Yeah. I talked to him last night, and he said he wasn't worried about the record. But we're all human, all players. And I feel like if you have an opportunity to do something as special as that as break Jerry Rice's record, for sure. So, unfortunately, he did suffer a concussion, and he did break his collarbone. And talking about Mike, I don't think people understand who he is, not just to that city or that team, just as a person. You know, he's extremely selfless. And when y'all seen the reaction of him tying the record last year, y'all see how the team, like how they acted?
Yeah.
It's because it's what y'all don't see who Mike is. Mike has never been this guy.
Yeah.
Whatever happens is like, man, y'all take it, whatever.
Yep.
Mike comes to work, he sits in his locker, he watch LeBron highlights, or whatever he watch, he go to practice, and he go home. That's it. He's about his family and his work, and that's it. And if you look at Mike, how he's transformed his body from when he first got in the league until now, and how he's taking care of himself, man, Mike is just a special human. And I think it hurts more that he won't have the opportunity to break this record. He'll be back. It's a 6 to 8 week, and he's expected to be back. He's going to push to be back by year's end to go on the playoff run. But, man, when you talk about a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something that special, I think we all feel bad for Mike more so than whatever else happened in the game.
No,
we couldn't take our mind off Mike.
But because of everything you just said, I do feel bad for the whole organization to lose the leader. That's the locker room leader.
Yep.
It's not Baker. It's that guy.
Yep.
He is the most underrated cinch Hall of Fame receiver ever. He's still people, because he's not a diva and he doesn't say me, look at me. He doesn't get the credit he deserves because he's not entertaining the way so many, I can start calling names of these guys who are always into something, messing something up or screwing up the locker room or whatever, but it's all about them because that position is played by NBA kind of talent players who they all want the ball, and it's as I always say, it's the only dependent position there is where you can't get the ball unless you decide you're open.
Yeah.
And there could be full games where you're double, tripled, whatever, and I'm not even going to look at you. I know, but I'm an NBA highlight player. You know, like I'm viral. You got to give me a chance. And he doesn't care.
Nope.
He doesn't say a word. So it tears me up that they won't have him in the huddle or on the sideline or in the locker room. It's a presence. But then I looked at Brady's Super Bowl run pandemic year when he just said, okay, you guys push me out the back door. I'm going there, and I'm going to watch what I do. And I looked at what Mike Evans contributed to Tom Brady because I was saying, well, Brady would tell you can't do it without him. But Mike didn't have, he had one big game, and it was their first wild card game at Washington. He caught 6 for 119. And then it fell way off. And even in the Super Bowl against Kansas City, he just caught one ball. It was for 31. But it's not in sheer stat production explosion. It's just presence. Or it's some key throw because he's 6'5", you know, and it's some 4th and goal at the 2 where you just say, I know he can do this.
Yeah.
I know I can jump ball him. I can fade him because Mike's going to go get it for me. Well, you don't have that. So back to your point, yeah, the schedule it's pretty easy by NFL standards because they go to New Orleans. I think they can win that game. It's the NFL, but then they have their bye. And maybe they can get Bucky, and I don't know what's wrong with Godwin, but he's got some leg issue that's scary to me because he's coming off a complete reconstruction. But if they could get those two back in the mix somehow, then they got New England at home, and then they have 2 losable games at Buffalo and at Rams that are going to be tough. And then the last 6, we talked about this. Man, if there's such a thing as a cake finish to a schedule, the last 6 for the Bucs it goes Arizona, New Orleans at home, Atlanta at home, at Carolina, at Miami, and Carolina at home. Well, again, Carolina at home at their place is tough, but again, because it's a division game, can you go win? Sure, you could go win that game. So could you get, if you lose those 2 games at Buffalo and the Rams, you're still on schedule. You could 13-4, right?
Sure. Yeah. This is where Coach Bowles is going to have to rally the troops.
Yeah.
And we talked about the Dan Campbell culture, and they lost both coordinators, but it looks like they haven't missed a beat. It's because when a culture is set on a team and your core is still there, everything can continue regularly scheduled programming. The reason I say that Tom Brady's the greatest free agent signing of all time is not because he's Tom Brady, it's because I was at the organization. We did not know how to win. When he got there, and ever since then, they haven't missed the playoffs. You know why? Because he taught them how to win.
He did.
Yeah.
From all the way up to the top, all the way down to the last man. It's a plug and play because we do things a certain way here, and that's why I believe in this group. There's a culture that's been set with when Tom Brady came in, but you still got your core there. Mike is not playing, but he's still in the building. Then you bring in a guy like Baker, the core and the culture of how they are is why I believe this thing will continue. Because just like Detroit, we bring guys in and you just do your job. We play a certain brand of football. And the Bucs just ran up against a team. It's a mirror match. It's just like they do what we do. They play a certain brand of football. They at home. They just play harder than the Bucs. But I don't want this to be they lost this game. They lost a bad game, so now they just no. Baker's still Baker, and this culture is still this culture, and they'll be fine. It's just when you run on that field and 13 is running out there with you, it don't matter if he touched the ball. The fact that 13 is in our huddle, that means something.
Yeah.
You know?
And allow me to say this as a Baker believer. The Baker hate was out in full force after that game last night.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, okay, check this out. So going into that game, he was a close second in the MVP odds to Mahomes, close second. Now he's plummeted to a distant 4th in MVP odds just off that one game. Yeah,
crazy.
After one quote-unquote bad game that I don't think was all that bad because, to your point, Ibuka, he's just protecting. He's like trotting.
Yeah,
well, I think they're taking into account, too, the injuries. The Mike Evans being out and what he's going to do. But that's the biggest thing from what you said for the Bucs right now is I trust them, even with the depleted roster and the injuries, to still win 13 games. We've seen them do it in the first couple weeks of the season. They can win games with their stars out. The biggest issue or concern I have with them is can they win games in the playoffs? Because you guys know the teams that win in the playoffs.
Everything changes.
Yeah, well, you guys know the teams in the playoffs that win are the teams that hit their stride late in December. They start getting hot at the right time, but they're also the healthiest team. And they have their key players. And if the Bucs can get back to being close to full strength and health, then I believe in them in the playoffs. But if they don't, they're going to be at a big disadvantage, even if they go 13-4 and win their division.
And we have to, Bucs, I implore you. I love the people there and how Todd Bowles is drawing it up. But we have to trade or try and find some type of edge rusher.
Yeah.
Something.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
need
Gotta
it.
improve
point.
the
A lot of
defense.
teams
You
look
got
You
it.
cannot just keep blitzing every man. When people know what you're gonna do, it is tough. You gotta have 4 that can just go get him.
Didn't
let us do this.
Yeah.
Let it get hurt last night too.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Yeah.
It's
Lost
just like
Con Reddick.
it's just
Yeah.
The Bucs,
that will help big time.
the Bucs
And
got
allow me to say one last thing about edge rushers. On the other side last night, Aiden Hutchinson is just nasty, relentless.
Unstoppable.
Absolutely.
Just-
He's a monster.
Hey,
He's a beast.
He's a
Hey,
monster.
this is just me. I would take him over Micah, but I just that's
No, really? I could have never
I
done
knew
that.
that.
I would have.
I'd take him
Of
over
course
Micah.
you would.
Come on.
I think there's a lot of players who take over
Yeah.
Micah. All right, so the Bucs
I'd
kind
take
of.
Richie over Micah for sure.
As an
Let's go.
edge rusher.
I can get after
Let's
the passer.
go.
I always wanted to get after the
Let's
passer.
see
I got
Richie as
the
an
We're
edge
talking about a
rusher.
beast.
Straight
That's it.
bull rush.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Straight bull rush.
Straight bull rush.
Push, pull, arm over.
Yeah.
I got all the
I hear
moves,
you,
baby.
Rich.
So yeah, the Bucs kind of got the injury bug, and they definitely need to improve a little bit on defense. But I know a lot of people here are rooting for them, so we'll see what Baker does. I know you really want him as MVP. Let's see what he does. But I want to give a quick shout out to Row Sparks. So Row Sparks is fast-acting, long-lasting solution designed to reach your bloodstream quicker, so you can be ready when it matters most. It contains powerful active ingredients of both Viagra and Cialis, giving you the best of both worlds in one treatment. So you can get ready in 15 minutes on average, which is crazy. Stay ready for 36 hours. Plenty of time to make things happen. So go to row.com/grid to find your prescription at Row Sparks and get $15 off your first order when you use our code. So go check that out. Or you have to just go to row.com/grid and you'll automatically get it. So now let's get into the running back conversation because there's some running backs shining right now. As you talked about, Jahmyr Gibbs last night, amazing to watch. So my question for each and every one of you, but Cody, let's start with you right now. With all things equal with running backs, who would you take for the rest of the year?
There's a lot of great running backs. You got Saquon, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs is in that conversation.
CMC.
There's a lot of guys playing at a high level right now. Yeah. But with everything equal, all things considered, I am taking, without a doubt, Jonathan Taylor right now. And I'm showing the Colts some love because we didn't earlier. But he leads the league in rushing yards by over 100 yards.
Yep.
He has 10 rushing touchdowns, which is first in the NFL. He leads the league in rushing yards per game. So you can't just say, okay, he's played more games than some of these other guys. He's at 99.6. I'm rounding that up to 100. He's got triple digits right now per game. He's protecting the football, 131 carries.
Yep.
No fumbles. He has 185 receiving yards and a touchdown receiving as well. But the thing that I love the most about him right now, and Richie, you'll appreciate this, and this is kind of the quarterback mindset, is he's great in pass protection. Yep. I need to know that I trust this guy in the backfield. The numbers are great. The stats are great. Everybody can do that. Guys can go out there and run the football. But he is the best pass protection, or he's the best pass blocker considering all the top running backs right now in the NFL. He has the best run or the best pass protection grade. That is something that gets overlooked, but it's so important. Right now, he's on track for 1,700 rushing yards. He's on track for 500 receiving yards and 26 total touchdowns. 24 of those would be rushing touchdowns. And if he keeps that up and gets to that number, that would tie 5th all time in the NFL for a single season. A lot of great running backs in the NFL right now, but I'm taking number 28 for the Colts right now.
All things considered.
All things considered.
All things equal.
Yep.
You starting the franchise.
Yep.
With all of these people, you starting the franchise.
I'm
you
taking Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
Why? What do you? What?
Go ahead. No, you
go ahead.
Yeah,
No.
Gerald, we're on a run here. Let's
Go
get
ahead.
you, Gerald.
Hear this wisdom.
I'm waiting, and don't bring up offensive line because I'm ready for that.
No, I'm not bringing up O-line because we're not worried about that. We're starting the franchise, and you're taking the person. So if you're starting the franchise, you just watch them do what they did out of college.
Yep.
You taking them skill for skill, whether they can catch, they can run, what they can do in the box, all of that.
Yes.
The guy's Bijan Robinson. It's Bijan. It is Bijan. Okay, you gave all that. Bijan is accounting for 40% of their offense. You know who he has been at wide receiver. He's in the backfield. You can move him all over. He's a weapon. You talk about running back. Bijan is a weapon. You can put him all over. And in the box, you know who got the most? He got all them yards, right? That means he's not getting touched. But you know who got the most broken tackles, who's making people miss, who's making people fall off of him, number one?
Okay.
Is Bijan.
And you know who has the most yards after contact right now when he's getting hit? Is Jonathan Taylor by a large margin.
No, it's
right now.
not. It's Bijan.
No, it's yards after contact?
4.2 yards after contact per attempt.
I'm talking about total yards after contact.
Attempt. Per attempt, he's making the most people miss. You can move him anywhere. Jonathan Taylor is right here, or he's taking a screen out the backfield. We know where he's going to be at.
He's doing per carry, and you're doing
I'm doing total.
Yeah.
Bijan,
he's carrying it way
he's
more
split
than
out
he's
wide.
carrying it.
You can put him in the slot. You can put him in the backfield. You can put him all over the place. He's a weapon. He's a person. You got to know where he's at all times. Jonathan Taylor, he's sitting right there, or he's going to catch it out the backfield. That's it.
Yeah, but
And they can't stop it.
yeah, and
Why-
he's still putting up.
Listen to what's happening, because we have to take O-line, scheme, all of that out of it.
Yep.
That was the stipulation.
That's
You're
fine.
taking all of that out of it. You're building a franchise. You're picking the guy to do your franchise. Bijan is the guy. You're talking about a bunch of stuff that has to do with all the other stuff that goes with what's happening. I can't bring it up because it's not part of stipulations. But forget the O-line. If we talk about who's not being touched until they get in the second level, it's your guy. Bijan is getting beat up in the backfield. He's still doing what he's doing. I need a guy that if all hell breaks loose, he still can get, boom, bounce off, make you miss. And it's a tight box right here. I can make you miss, and still go to yard. He's the youngest out of all of them.
And you're saying Jonathan Taylor can't do that right now?
He's not doing it.
Yes, he is.
No,
He
he's
has
not
over
being touched.
400 yards after
He's
contact.
not being touched until he's in
That's
the second
no,
level.
Gerald, no.
He's not being touched until he's in the second level.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor's a phenomenal running back. He is a phenomenal running back. I'll give you that. But we're talking about a guy who can make him miss. You can put him here, you can put him here. I love that he can block. That's wonderful. That's incredible. I get somebody else to do that. But I get somebody else to do that.
All right, go look at pass blocking grades.
I can get somebody else to do it. I don't care. You know why? Because I can bring him in the block, but you know Bijan, as he come in the block, Bijan, you can go play wide receiver, you can put him in the slot. You come block for me, but I need this guy on the field to make a play. Forget the blocking. Get him to come block for me. I need that guy to make the play. 40% of the Falcons' offense is this guy.
So you're going to take him in passing situations. You're saying your argument's going to take him off the field to let another running back come in and block?
Is he not listening to what I just said?
No.
I said bring in a guy to block, but Bijan has to stay on the field.
So you're putting Algier and Robinson on the field at the same time.
He's a weapon. He's not just a running back. He's a weapon. One-on-one in space, he's actually running routes. He's not just taking screens to the crib. He's 65 snaps at slot or wide receiver. 65. That is far beyond any other running back. He's not just a running back. He is a weapon. That's the difference.
Who do you have, Richie?
I'm going Jonathan Taylor.
Okay, two for
I'm going
JT.
Jonathan
And that's
Taylor.
an offensive lineman, too.
Yeah, I'm going Jonathan Taylor because every time he touches the ball, he's an explosive threat. He could take it all the way.
Because he's not getting touched.
He catches out of the backfield.
You're ignoring the
screen game. The screen game is good with him.
Said it. It's a screen.
And also, he's my fantasy running back.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, me too.
But I've spent a lot of time around Jonathan Taylor. He trains down in Arizona in the offseason.
Really?
He's rehabbed a couple injuries down there at Exos. I mean, this kid is rock solid. He is a good dude. He's a hard worker.
Yeah.
He's a really he's a kind guy. Like he's
Oh, shoot. You know him.
he's legit.
Kind.
No, but
He's kind.
No,
Let me talk about football here. I was
but
kind.
It
don't matter.
If I own the team or if I'm calling the shots, that's the guy I want because he's not only explosive, but he's a great player and he's a great dude.
If you don't know none of that, we're just going off their skill set. Forget the dude.
Yeah, but that's a hypothetical because you can't just use.
Here, I'll say this about Bijan. He accounts for 40% of the offense
because
Penix stinks.
Wow.
Okay, so if your quarterback is trash, you need a weapon. Somebody I can give the ball to and we still can get it done.
Well,
there you go.
My argument was going to be that the Colts have more weapons on the outside with Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman Jr. and Daniel Jones is playing well. More so than what the Falcons have. That's why Bijan Robinson touches the ball so many times because they need him to.
Okay,
Jonathan Taylor,
so if we got one person, this one guy,
Yep.
the only reason, I'm going to tell you right now, the only reason I didn't pick CMC is because I'm worried about, it says, the question was moving forward.
No, this year.
This year.
This year.
That's what I'm saying.
Skip, who do you have?
right now.
No, right now.
Yeah.
Moving forward. That's what I'm saying. Rest of the season. I worry about CMC's wear and tear. Yep. He's not running as explosive. He's getting the job done, but I just worry about if he'll get banged up.
Of course.
That's the only reason I didn't pick him.
Okay.
Skip.
And that's what I told you
Yep.
on Monday. I don't trust CMC's health, even though he completely and utterly outplayed Bijan on Sunday night in San Francisco. After Bijan, we've had 3 straight night game shows, where we came into a show and we had a Bijan night where we heralded him, put him up on a pedestal.
Yeah, we did.
And then we had the C-Mac night, and last night was the Jameer night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, to your point about Bijan, if this question were, who do you want for the rest of his career, I'm Bijan all day and all night. If we're going the next 5, 6, 7 years, I don't know how long they'll last, but if you're going way forward.
I hear you.
Yeah, then this kid is as special as you get on and off the field. If you want to talk about off the field special with JT, this kid's right there because I've been around him and he is as special and quality and freakishly gifted as it goes. But right now, it's disturbing me, and I love Raheem, but they bring in Algier. When they get in the red zone, they go banger back. And I'm like, what? Because Emmitt Smith ain't coming out of the game. But trust me, Eric Dickerson would say, are you kidding me? You're going to pull me out. He gets you in the red zone, and then they let Algier kind of close the deal. Anything first and goal, it's Algier banging away. And I'm like, are you just trying to save him, or what? Or do you not think he runs hard enough? Does he not run violently enough between the tackles? And so it's disturbing to me because I think he can. I think he can be the workhorse back as well as the finesse back. Because you're right, you can just split him out and throw it to him 40 yards down the field because he's a wideout masquerading as a running back. So on just gifts, I give you. But I got to quickly give this love to Jameer. This is just, to my eyes, as I sit back in my living room, if I have a choice of watching any of these guys, I'm watching Jameer.
You love to watch him. Yeah.
Hey,
he is fun.
He is
fun to watch.
Like, everybody else is standing still.
Yeah.
Okay, he is the most electric of these backs. He electrifies a game in ways none of these guys can electrify a game. He's smaller than all. By the way, he is the youngest. He's 2 months younger than Bijan is. So he's still just a baby to me. But he's 5'9", 200, 202. But my God, every time he touches the ball, run or pass, I'm thinking, is this it? Is he going to break it? Because he's got the most speed. He's got the most acceleration. But now we're back to dual, 1-2 punch because what's the other kid's name? David Montgomery. He comes in and bangs away when they need yards. So I was looking at their carries last night. David Montgomery's got 78 to 104 rushes for Jameer. So they're trying to spell him and do thunder and lightning and thunder and lightning or lightning and thunder. And yet Jameer, when he gets his chances between the tackles, he bangs it up in there. He runs fearlessly hard. Okay, and then I got to mention before I get to my answer, Saquon. If this were a year ago, we'd be going crazy now over Saquon, right?
Yeah.
But he still hasn't rushed for 100 yards.
Moving on.
So he averaged 125 a game last year, and he's stuck at 53, and he had 18 carries for 44 yards the other day at Minnesota. And I'm like, what happened? Well, to me, Saquon, feel free to disagree, was always a luxury back to me. He was the icing on the cake where if he sees daylight and hits daylight, if you give him a big crease where he can see it and hit it, it's house, man, because he can still fly. He timed 4.4 coming out, and he can still run 4.4, maybe 4.3 with the football under his arm. But if he sees jerseys, he just tiptoes, and it's a none-yard run because he just goes down. He doesn't run with force or authority between the tackles at all. So I don't see it.
Man, I've seen this guy make
I've
guys
watched
and then
him
hurdle a dude
closely.
backwards when there's no one blocking for him with three jerseys
But
around.
that's when he gets free.
He wasn't free. Yeah.
Last year, they got him free a lot because...
Sound like somebody this year.
Who?
Jonathan Taylor.
You talking about the guy that has the most yards after contact right now in the NFL?
Okay,
I agree with you, Skip. Saquon is like, you open up a big wide hole for him, Saquon's going to find it, and he's special.
Yeah.
But will he give us like a CMC performance that we saw the other night? Grind it up in between the tackles, take those small creases?
Okay, so to sum this up.
Yeah.
Forgive me for this. I respect Bijan going for, long haul, but you can't argue with Jonathan Taylor right now. You just can't.
Because you can't. I'm going to argue it.
Okay, it's just, I mean, you tried and you did a good job, but when this is his sixth year.
Gerald says no.
He is at the peak of his powers right now, where he'll pass block, he'll get hard yards, he'll get luxury yards, he'll get all the yards. He is
do it all.
A huge reason. He is the literal driving force of the team with the best record in football. And if I'm just going for the rest of the year, he's a pro's pro. He's a solid citizen, and I'm not around that team, so I can't say for sure, but I think he might be the leader of that team more than Danny Dimes is the leader of that team.
He's been there longer too. Yeah. Careful.
Yeah.
But, and I know that was my point though. I'm glad you brought that up, Skip, because I know you're laughing, joking about the pass protection thing, but if I'm, as a quarterback, as an offensive coordinator, I'm starting an offense, I want a guy that's an every down back. He can run through you, he can run around you, he can get some of the screenplays. I'm not going to say he's out, but he can pass protect. I can keep him on the field at all times, and he can still produce at a high level, and he's not afraid to do the dirty work. I'm looking at everything when it talks about who is a guy that you would want as your running back right now.
Who would be harder to game plan for, Bijan or Jonathan Taylor?
Okay, but now
okay.
Jonathan Taylor.
Harder to game plan for?
Jonathan Taylor. Because, yes, it would. Because
you're lying.
But you're talking about him.
You're lying because you know where he's at all times.
But you're talking about him.
What do you have
to do for Jonathan Taylor? You got to load the box, and I know we're talking.
We're scheming defensively.
Yes.
And I got Jonathan Taylor and I got Bijan. Okay, we know what this guy is. He's a home run hitter, but we know he's going to be right there. When you're scheming for Bijan, we got to make sure we got somebody on him because he'll be here. We got to find him at all times. Wherever he's at, everything starts with 7. Find where he's at. Is he over there? Is he right here? Okay, now he's in the backfield. Now we got him. He's over here now. Now we got Jonathan Taylor sitting right there.
Okay, and if everyone knows, so every defensive coordinator knows he's sitting right there, but he still has 700 yards rushing. He's getting 100 yards per game.
We can't get it.
What do you mean? Why is that?
It's not part of the question. But
no, you keep using that though, and that's why you try to get a gotcha on who would you game plan for. Well,
no, I didn't try to get a gotcha. I'm telling the truth. You know it's Bijan.
But if you're game planning,
who's more harder to game plan for?
I would say Jonathan Taylor because you got to load the box and you got to worry about stopping the run.
That's the coach's thing. You are the coach. Skip just said, I don't know why they do it. Would you take him out? No. Would you take him out? No.
No, of course no.
Forget what they're doing. What would you do? Would Bijan be in the game in the red zone? Absolutely, he would.
He should.
Okay, so we've got 3 for JT, 1 for Bijan. The chat is going with Gibbs.
Okay.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
And just, I'm going to throw in mine a little bit just because I'm a fantasy football girl.
CMC.
You guys are I'm a fantasy football girl. CMC leads in fantasy football points. So I think we have 2023 CMC back. I'm going to go CMC. Put that in the hat real quick, but we're going to move on. Okay, so you know what I would love to see this year? I love rooting for some underdogs. I want to see the Bengals and the Cowboys make a run and go to the playoffs. They're offensive right now, the 2 wideouts. It's just beautiful to watch. It's fun to watch. So I know you love your Cowboys. Right now they have a 7% probability of getting that wild card and going to the playoffs. Skip, how do the Cowboys season end? What do you see?
I got 70% in the playoffs. 7-0, not 7.
You're adding a 0.
And by the way, speaking of running backs, I'm going to build my argument on my running back who doesn't belong in any of this conversation, and he's just second in the league in rushing right now. And he's off the scrap heap from the Denver Broncos, against whom he gets to play this Sunday at Denver. We'll see how that goes, if he's got a little Rico Dowdle maybe for the Denver Broncos as he goes back to play them. But he runs without fear. He runs with conviction and authority, and he gives hard yards. C-Mac does too, to a fault to me, where I'm just like, don't. You can't. But Javante's, he's shorter. He's 5'9", but he goes 230. And he just gives you every last ounce. And all of a sudden, we have a backbone of a running game upon which the most explosive offense in all of football is built. I got the best 2 receivers, the most dynamic duo in all of football in CD and George Pickens. And you can have Chase and T, or you can have the 2 Philly guys. You can. I'll just take my guys. This team is poised for takeoff. And I keep saying it week after week, but I said it before the season started. I did not like this team a year ago. I was out on it, and I was way in on the Eagles last year, and I picked them from the start to win it all, and they did. And it was hard for me as a Cowboy fan to pick the Eagles. But I said these Cowboys are a playoff team, and I'm sticking with it because they're about to launch. And I'm not even saying they can win at Denver, but they will go give Denver a football game because this team rises to the occasion. The better the opponent, the better they play. They should have beaten Philly on opening Thursday night at Philadelphia. And the irony of what I'm saying is, who I think is the best receiver in football, CeeDee Lamb, dropped 4 passes in the game and 2 big ones, 2 deeper ones in the fourth quarter. If he catches either one of the fourth quarter balls, I think we're having a little different conversation because they would have opened with a win against the defending champs on banner night in Philadelphia. But the defense, like we're barely number 2 to the Colts in scoring, and yet we're 2 from the bottom. The Bengals are right below us, and then the Baltimore Ravens of all teams are at the very bottom of the barrel on defensive points allowed. I just think we're going to get better and better, and that I'm going to say it again, DeMarvion Overshown is close to coming back. His window just opened where he gets the 3 weeks to see if he can come off IR, and they have a bye coming up in 2 weeks, and if Overshown comes back on the defense, he's a game wrecker. He'll have what you guys think is Micah kind of impact on the defense when he comes back as a monster type back and a blitzer. So I love what I've seen so far in spurts. I loved what happened without CD against Green Bay. That was spectacular. Score 40 without CD on that defense on a Sunday night. And I keep saying we won the game 40-40, but I take it as a moral victory. And we without CD, we obviously lost at Chicago because he was gone in the first series. And we lost at Carolina. We shouldn't have. And I can't explain it, and I can't defend it. But I'm looking down the pike now. Even if I say they lose at Denver, and I'll give you losing at Detroit, it's just such a hard place to play. It's a Thursday night game. They're going to lose that game. I'll even give you that they lose to their arch rival at Washington on Christmas. And those are the 3 that I say. And I think they're going to win every other game, including beating Patrick Mahomes on Thanksgiving Day at Jerry World. That's what I say. And I just say we're about to launch, and that's 10-6. And I think 10-6 gets you in the playoffs. So I got them in the playoffs.
Well, they played the Chiefs on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
There's a tradition that you always say what you're thankful for on Thanksgiving. The Cowboys should get up and say, I'm so thankful for fans like Skip. Just, regardless of what
Either
happened.
ride or die.
Man, Skip, I was with you until you said the better the team, the better they. How are the Panthers?
Okay, but nobody thought they were.
How the
Nobody
Bears?
thought they were any good. Nobody thought they were any good.
Right.
Yeah, so I was with you. But when I was with you with they'll make the playoffs, I said they can't lose games like the Bears. They went and lost to the Panthers.
Yep.
So that means that's what they'll do. So you just said they got 3 more games you say they'll lose. They only got 3 wins right now. So how's that going to be enough to get in the playoffs?
Okay, if they lose 3 more, that's 10-6, right?
Yeah, but who's above them right now? Who's above them in the standings?
Well,
Let's
just
see.
about everybody.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you got Green Bay, San Fran,
NFC West.
Philly, Tampa, Detroit, Seattle, and the Rams.
Okay.
And then above them, you still got Chicago and Carolina.
Okay.
Out of the top 7, if they lose 3 more, who are they jumping?
Okay, we got a long way to go. We're way early in this.
And for context, if they go 10-6-1, last year Green Bay was 7 at 11-6. So.
You think they'll win 10 games, Cody?
No, I'm about to go over the schedule right now.
Okay.
I'm going to try to find these 10 wins.
Yeah, Cody, what do you got there?
So the question is, how does the Cowboys season end? Do they make the playoffs? Who the hell knows at this point, man? Skip, I feel for you, man. Like, I can't comprehend what it's like being a Cowboys fan. 1 week, they play well, and I'm like, you know what? They could go on a run. Then the next week they lose to Chicago and they lose to Carolina. No disrespect to those teams. They're playing better football. They got winning records right now.
Yeah.
But those are games that you have to win if you want to be a
just
true
for the record, it was pretty great in the 70s and the 90s to be a Cowboy fan. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, it was. And I'm not trying to disrespect Cowboys fans. I'm just saying I'm going to give you credit.
Yeah.
Because without a doubt, you guys are loyal. You're faithful. I know for a fact you're emotionally
Every year is their year.
tough. Because
I live in Dallas. I'm
that
telling
team,
you.
the roller coaster ride that
It's
you
a
guys
roller
go
coaster.
on
It's
That's
insane.
what
is unbelievable. And this is the first year I've really followed closely with the Cowboys. I know they've had some better years, but it is just up and down from week to week. And I see it with how you react to these games.
Yeah.
But looking at this schedule and being 100% realistic about it, the next 3 games the Cowboys play the Broncos, the Cardinals, and the Raiders.
Yep.
I think they can win 2. The Cardinals have been playing everybody tough.
Yep.
They have. You can't just overlook the Cardinals. I don't think they beat Denver, but I do think they can beat the Raiders. That gives them 2 wins. That'll put them at 5-4.
So you're saying
1.
Arizona's going to beat Dallas on Monday night at
No,
Jerry
I just said they could win 2 games of those.
Okay.
I think it's
Oh,
Arizona
okay, I
and
got
the
you,
Raiders.
sorry, I
I
got you.
think the
Out of
loss
those 3,
to
they
the
can win
Broncos,
2.
but you can't overlook Arizona, even
Okay.
with Brissett right now. They're playing everybody tough.
Okay.
After that, though, the
They
next
played y'all's force all the way until 58 seconds, by the way, but whatever. Keep going.
Hey, that was week 2. But the next 5 games are going to determine their season. They play the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions, the Vikings, and the Chargers.
Yep.
Now, lucky for them, they only have 1 away game, and that's at Detroit. But if they win 2 of those, I'll give them 2. If they can win 2 of those 5, maybe still a third, but I'm going to give them 2. That's what I think they get, is they get 2 wins out of those 5. That'll put them at 7.
Okay, are you
7,
giving
1.
them Minnesota and Chargers at
I will
home?
give them Minnesota, and I think they can beat the Chargers. I don't think they're beating Philly. I don't think they're beating the Chiefs, and I don't think they're beating the Lions. Even at home
That's
against
fair.
Eagles and the Chiefs, I just don't think they're going to win that
That's a
game.
tough schedule.
I think they have a chance against the Vikings, especially with their quarterback situation.
Home
And the
games, yeah.
Chargers right now, I'm not 100% sold on, especially after the game last week against Indianapolis. That'll put them at 7-7-1. That's why that Panther win that we talked about a couple weeks ago, they needed that one to get them to 10. And then the last 2 games I'll give you. They play Washington, Christmas Day, and then they play at New York to finish the year. I think they can win both of those depending on how New York's playing and depending on the health of the Commanders, but I do think
You
they can
do?
get that.
Well, then I'll improve to 11-5-1.
No, with all that being said,
Skip knows
we're
they
talking.
struggle with. It's always something about freaking Dak and the Commanders. It's,
Yeah.
it's just like ain't it always just something?
We beat them
They
there
played
last
well.
year
Yeah,
without
they
that.
did. I know Jaden got hurt.
it's
There's
like-
some
it's
outliers, but with all that still leaves them at 9-7-1. And I feel like even if I'm generous, give them another win in that 5-game stretch, getting to your 10-6-1. Green Bay at 11-6 last year was 7th, and the NFC is too good right now, even with 10 wins,
That's what
that
I'm
I think
saying.
they still get in. I don't think they have a chance.
It's hard to jump all them teams.
I'm riding with my boy Skip.
Yes, sir.
I'm riding with my boy Skip, right? They got some challenging games in there. We're very early in the season. We don't know where injuries go. We don't know what happens. But I'm riding with that offense. I really love CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and now getting Javonte Williams going. I mean, that is this team is poised for a deep run. They got to get some pieces back on the defense. They got to get a pass rush going. But I think that this offense can at least lift them into the wild card round. And there's some tough games. They got Denver, Arizona, Raiders. I hate to go against my Raiders, but that's a win. Cardinals, I think that's a win. Denver, I think it's a toss-up. I think if Dallas goes in there and is able to put up 40 points, I think Denver's going to be challenged to keep up. I believe in Denver, and I think Denver's a good team, but I haven't seen Denver in a boat race yet. I haven't seen them against a really great offense that can respond time after time after time again. So
They were weirdly in a boat race against Jackson Dart. I mean, it became that,
It became
right?
a boat race.
Yeah.
It became a boat
It's
race.
33-32.
Right, but
they
that-
did
that-
it upside down.
Yeah, but that whole thing, I mean, that fourth
Yeah.
quarter, I say the Giants lost that game. I say
They did.
I say that was just a bad loss. Denver sleptwalked through the first 3 quarters of that
Yep.
game. And if that Denver shows up against that Dallas offense, it's going to be a challenging day.
Yeah, it's a 3-point game. So Denver's a 3-point favorite at home. So Vegas is kind of saying it's
It's a toss-up.
kind of a level playing field. You get 3 at home. Okay.
I don't think that the Denver game is going to be I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
I just don't see them blocking this group. That's a tough group to block.
I'd say it's the toughest.
That's a tough group to block. And then the back end, just this defense. I think the defense, if it does start going like this,
Yeah.
Dallas don't have the defense to stop these people. They not stopping the Chiefs. Come on now.
All right, I'll build
Come
on
on
your
now.
point. That's a tough group to block. The Giants blocked them up, and I
They did.
think Dallas's offensive line is better when healthy.
When healthy. Agreed. And yet, trust me on this. This team if you bring Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and all the hoopla to Jerry World on Thanksgiving, the Cowboys will rise to that occasion. That they have firepower and they know it.
They do.
They step on the field. Dak Prescott, to me, we're talking about Mahomes being the MVP favorite. Man, he's leading in QBR, and I've never seen him carry himself the way he's carrying himself with such confidence.
I tried to give you that last week, and you gave me a hard time.
No, I did not.
You said that.
I said they were going to beat Washington.
What about the Chicago game? I'm like,
okay, well,
aberration. Dak is balling.
He is balling. Right.
But he
Dak is going crazy.
Yeah,
That's why I had him at MVP because of what he's doing, and CD was out, and how he's playing. He was at my MVP, and then Baker did what he did last week, and I'm like, well, I jumped Baker.
But that's a risk. I'm all in right now on Dak at MVP, but that's a risky place to be in, to where you have to be perfect at quarterback every single game.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you know your defense is at least giving up 30. You have that's tough to win games like that. And Akeem, if he was here, I can hear him saying, I'm not in on the Cowboys because I don't trust that defense to finish out the rest of the year, or at least even if they get to the playoffs, having a shot.
So my question to you two, which is okay, because you said they could probably get 10, whatever.
9.
That's 9. I'm saying, but even if you gave them 10 to be
giving them 10.
So who do they jump? That's my question. They got to get to 7. Who do they jump? Green Bay, San Fran. You said San Fran to win the West. Okay, they're not jumping San Fran. Philly still Philly.
Rams.
We all agree the Bucks can still have a. So Detroit, you said will win the NFC.
Yeah.
We all just said, well, except Skip said that
Seahawks.
the Seahawks have a chance to win the NFC, and then it's the Rams. So who are they jumping?
If you get to
some of these teams got to start losing.
I'll just tell you this. Is my team capable of winning 10 games total, go 10-6-1? You better believe it is.
Yeah.
And if it does, I don't care. It'll sort itself out because 10's going to get you in. Wouldn't you agree? It always does.
Last year 11 got you in. But last year the Green Bay was 7 and they had 11. Now that was a crazy year because the NFC North had 3 teams go and Green Bay was 11-6, getting at 7. But
so the arena is split. The fans are split because the chat says 50-50. So there is some hope for the Cowboys, and that's exciting. I hope for you, Skip. We're rooting for the Cowboys. Let's move on, though, to the Rams. I know I talk a lot of shit about the Rams, and I give Gil a lot of shit, but I got to cheers to Gil because they went to London, and they really gave an ass beating to the Jags. That was crazy. So they also, I don't know if you guys saw that they changed their travel schedule and they were supposed to have a bunch of jet lag. They did not show that at all. Matt Stafford had 5 total touchdowns. Travis Hunter, 0 snaps on defense in the first half. On the second half, he showed up on offense, 8 receptions, 101 yards, first career touchdown. So I want to get into Travis Hunter a little bit because he did show up in the second half. I know you've been rooting for him on offense. So we got to get into it. Cody, should Travis be playing more on defense?
Hold on, Travis. There's the hill right there. Climb up there.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
No,
you want to go first?
Climb up there.
No,
Just,
look, this it actually kind of works in my advantage right now, this conversation. I'll get into that. But look, I completely, what's going on? You got to take into context. Look, I completely understand the argument for Travis Hunter playing defense. And if you look back, I even said, when I was talking about him playing offense or defense, just give him 3 full games on one side of the ball, then give him 3 full games on the other side of the ball. Let him focus on one side. And I understand that he can be a lockdown corner, and he's extremely talented on the outside. And right now the Jags need him on defense because they're 27th in passing defense, and they're struggling to cover people. But with that being said, they need him more on offense. Brian Thomas Jr. is not playing like he did a year ago. He's having some drop issues right now.
Yeah.
He's just got injured. I don't know how serious it is and what the severity of it is, but he just got injured in that game against the Rams. It looked like it was a right shoulder injury. I don't know how long he's going to be out. They have a bye, so it'll give him time to come back. Yeah. But after that, they have Parker Washington, they have De'Ami Brown, and they have Tim Patrick as their other guy. Travis Hunter has to be their number 1 wide receiver. And you could even argue that he's their number 1 wide receiver when Brian Thomas Jr. comes back with the way that he's playing right now. Hopefully he can get back on track, but I'm getting the ball to 12, and he leads the team in receptions also, playing significantly less snaps than Brian Thomas Jr. and the other guys. So it's tough for me to say right now, okay, just take him off of offense and put him on defense when you have BTJ out, when you're not having production. One thing that needs to happen, though, if my hill of him being on offense even makes sense, is Trevor Lawrence has to play a little bit better, and they have to get on the same page. And that game, and we talked about this after that game ended, he had 100 yards receiving, had a touchdown. There were a lot more to be had. And I went back and watched the All-22 on the game film. He missed some wide open started the very first series of the game, wide open. I don't know why Trevor right now isn't processing the right way and getting the ball to Hunter on some of these reads because there's times that he's open and Trevor's just locking onto one guy and not getting to Travis and not getting to his next progression. I will put some of the blame on Travis, though, and this goes back and forth with you guys saying, hey, let him play defense, give him a couple snaps on offense, they'll figure it out on some of these gadget plays. Timing and trust and reps is so important. There's a couple on a 3rd and 12, he runs a crosser route. Travis isn't looking at Trevor, he throws it, goes right by him. Not on the same page. They have a quick out to the right sideline. Misses him outside. Like, those are plays that you should be able to make with your eyes closed.
But that pass you talking about got tipped at the line, too.
Which one?
Where the crossing route, where it went.
It doesn't matter, though. He wasn't even looking.
But it got tipped.
It doesn't, even if he
threw it in front of him.
I'm saying.
He threw it in front of him and it got tipped, so it went
Travis
behind
Hunter
him.
was looking straight ahead. He wasn't looking for the ball, and Trevor still threw it to him, regardless if it got tipped, if it was accurate or not. He wasn't even looking, expecting the ball. That tells me that they don't rep those plays enough and they're not on the same page. And to back me up a little bit, too, go look at what Jimmy Smith, 5-time Pro Bowl, 2-time All-Pro wide receiver, said on Twitter. Jags legend at wide receiver, he said, Travis Hunter should be our #1 wide receiver, and I'm trusting what that man says. I understand the argument.
What position did he play?
Play receiver.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Hey,
I can show you 15 different DBs.
Wouldn't you think that
Richard Sherman said on Sunday he should be a DB. Ryan Clark said on Sunday he should be a DB. We can go down the list.
But wouldn't you think a man that played into ball and watches the game closely and plays that position recognizes talent when he sees it? And you can argue those other guys do too, but you can't deny when Travis Hunter catches a 2-yard route, it's going for 10 at least. If he catches an underneath route, he can take it to the house. He can score at any point in time on the field. He is that dangerous.
What did they get them on Sunday?
Huh?
What did they get them on Sunday?
What do you mean?
What did that get them on Sunday? All them catches and yards. What did it get them?
7.
Yeah, but you can't put that on Travis Hunter. You're saying that
I'm saying that on the opposite side of the ball, the guy he would have been on had how many touchdowns? He would have been covering Devontae. How many touchdowns did he have? 3. And they were red zone targets where he just threw it up. We talk about a freakish athlete, do we not? The reason you want him on offense is because he's a freak athlete.
No, the reason I want him on offense, but this argument right now is because they need him on offense.
Remember the pass to Kansas City, and I said to anybody, you can go get multiple receivers to go up and get that, and your argument was, no, you can't. That's him and his body control. You see what he did when he covered Devontae? One-on-one down the sideline, and Devontae was catching it over everybody else, or getting flags, and what did Travis do? He recovered.
It was underthrown, though, Gerald. You can't say that
he recovered.
He recovered because the ball was underthrown.
I'm talking about, let's put him in the red zone.
Okay.
50-50 ball with Travis Hunter.
You're talking about what ifs, though, and hypotheticals. I'm not saying he's not a great DB. I'm just saying right now, you're talking about hypotheticals. If he was on Devontae.
That's not hypothetical. If he's on defense on Sunday, Matthew Stafford threw under 200 yards.
Yeah.
But he had 5 touchdowns. A lot of that's in the red zone. 3 of them went to the #1 wide receiver.
That is correct.
Who would have been on?
Well,
Travis Hunter would have been on it.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying.
So
and he got all the targets, all them yards. Travis Hunter finally got his first touchdown, and everybody's celebrating. I was happy for him, too. They got 7 points. When this young guy, and he's such a phenomenal person, they asked him after the game, how do you feel about playing both sides of the ball? Man, I just do what they tell me.
Yeah.
If they say go to offense, I go to offense. They say go to defense, I don't ask questions. I just do what they tell me.
Where are you at now?
He said he had to go to the coach and say, Coach, just give me the ball. That's the difference. He has to wait on the ball. You just said Trevor Lawrence has to play better. They have to get on the same page. You ain't got to do that on defense. I got to understand the defense, and I'm with you all game. I ain't got to worry about nobody getting me the ball because I'm locked in on you.
You just watched them struggle against the Rams, put up 7 points because of Travis Hunter. You watched them struggle against Seattle on offense, and your answer to that is say, let's take Travis Hunter off of offense and put him primary on defense.
But where do you want him?
I'm going wide receiver. I want to see him.
Wow, we got the offensive
well,
guys.
Obviously, we're both offensive players. He's a defensive player.
They need him right now.
They need him on offense, right? Give him a 1-2 punch with Travis Hunter. Brian Thomas isn't having the year he had last year. He's having a down year. I think you give Trevor Lawrence a nice 1-2 punch. This whole novelty of he can play both ways. Yes, physically, he could play both ways. But it's taking away from his dynamic playmaking ability. This guy is different on the field. His body control, he gets down with the ball, and he gets north and south. He is a very, very rare specimen. I mean, this kid's a stud. But Jacksonville is having issues with drops right now. 32% Trevor Lawrence's incompletions are coming to receivers. You got Brian Thomas, De'Ami Brown, Travis Etienne even having some drops. So I get the case to play him on defense. He's a shutdown corner. You lock him down on your number one. That Rams offense is really well. And they showed up in London ready to play. Jacksonville a little less prepared. But I really think that if you give him 100% offensive snaps, let him get those reps with Trevor Lawrence, it'll open up their offense even more.
Well, that's what we've seen Sunday.
How are you
Primarily
feeling,
offense.
I'm going to say what I said when Travis was at Colorado. If given the opportunities, he will revolutionize football as we know it in the modern era, because he will make a Pro Bowl on offense and defense in the same year, and he will do it multiple times if given the opportunities. Liam Cohen, obviously going into the Rams game, said, well, they don't have Puka, so I don't need Travis to play defense in the first half. So he played no snaps on defense in the first half. To your point, Devontae is number one. So who's by far the best cornerback on the roster? By far. It ain't even close. It's Travis Hunter. Trust me on this. Like Dion will tell you, the greatest corner ever, that he's in my league. He's the only one I've ever seen who's actually in my league as a cornerback. If you put him on Devontae from snap number one and let him play every defensive snap against the Rams, Devontae caught 3 touchdown passes from 2 yards, 1 yard, and 1 yard. Trust me, he'll have a hard time catching it on 12.
I don't agree.
Hypotheticals,
these are all hypotheticals,
Yeah,
right? And the fact of the matter is, he's not making the Pro Bowl this year. Ibuka is. Another wide receiver taken way later in the draft. They traded up. They gave all the draft capital to get this kid to come in. And I get it. He can. But right now, he's contributing nothing. He has his first receiving touchdown in Week 7 in garbage time. This guy is a difference maker. If you're going to play him on one side of the ball, let him master that side of the ball. Quit going back and forth, because through 7 weeks, he's had little to no impact.
I'm going to let Skip finish, but then we go ahead.
Who's the best receiver on the roster? And I respect Brian
You're saying
Thomas.
right now how they're playing.
Brian Thomas.
Yes.
No, I'm saying Travis Hunter right now is the best.
He's the best receiver.
Who has better numbers?
How they're playing.
All right.
Travis has more catches by 1. I think BTJ has more yards by maybe 60 or 70.
If you go ask the coaching staff who watches them practice every day, who's the best receiver, they'll say Travis. But they're caught in the middle, and now they're devaluing him on both sides of the ball, because we don't play him that much on defense, but they played twice as many snaps offense to defense.
Right.
And yet they're not going all in either way. I feel strongly both ways. He should be playing he played 83% of the snaps last year on defense at Colorado and 85% on offense. But it was actually more defensive snaps because they had more. But the point is, Dion will tell you he's just fine. He can run all day, and the college offenses play way faster than the pro offenses do. So Dion's saying he was keeping up last year, no problem. And he's not a physical player, so it's not that he can't take the pounding of playing both ways, because he doesn't do that.
I don't need you to.
Yeah, you don't need him to.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, he is underutilized now on both sides of the ball, because if you let him play every snap on defense and get his legs underneath him, he will start to evolve as the best shutdown corner in football. But right now, he's playing so few snaps that even on the play that you're talking about up the sideline, he actually, Devontae got him, had about a step on him. Yeah. Well, it was underthrown. And
he made a hell of a play on the football.
And what did he say afterwards?
But
what did Travis say afterwards?
One snap.
What did Travis say afterwards?
I don't know.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
He said that for a reason.
Yeah.
All them catches, and he do his dances and stuff, but when he did that with Tay, he beat his chest and said, "This is what I do." That's for a reason.
Gerald, I'm not disagreeing.
Because they played him one snap.
One snap.
How many did he play on offense?
He played way more on offense.
And they had how many points?
Okay. I don't think that matters.
You keep saying that like taking him off offense is going to fix that problem.
You want to score more points?
Keep him. You got to keep him on. He's the only one doing anything.
Keep him on. Let him play all offense.
By the way, it was 68 snaps on offense to 15 on defense against the Rams. 68 to 15.
And on the season, he's got 257 snaps on offense and 148 on defense. So he's leaning more offense. Let him
Who's the head coach?
Let him. He's an offensive coordinator.
Okay, of course he's going to play more.
So that's why I say it's hard enough to be a Pro Bowl player at one position. We're asking this kid to not only learn the entire offense, learn the defense, learn what other offenses are trying to do with him.
We all agree he should be on one side. It's just
100%.
we're different on which side.
100%. You have to specialize him, and I get that he can turn into a Pro Bowl player, but he hasn't shown it yet. Let's get him on one side of the ball, let him specialize, let him take over, and then we can get back to this novelty of this idea that he's going to transcend the game, because he's not the best wide receiver in the NFL. He's not the best corner in the NFL. Let's get him on one side of the ball and end all this hyperbole and saying, oh, well, he could do this and he could do this. We're 7 weeks through the NFL season, and he's contributed nothing.
So in that first half, or the game period, 8 catches, what do you have, 101 yards?
101. One
and touchdown. How much of that came when the game was within reach?
It was garbage
I'm not
time.
disagreeing that it didn't happen in the second half.
It was garbage
But go
time.
watch the film, Gerald. We even talked about it.
I've seen it.
There are times he's wide open. There's one where Trevor forces the ball over the middle. Travis is the next read, and obviously he's frustrated, but he throws his hands up like, hey, man, like, get me the ball. I can make plays if you get me the ball. And Trevor
has to get the ball.
So why do we?
So we're going to deal with, we're going to keep him on offense all year with Trevor Lawrence trying to get him the ball instead of putting him somewhere where we know it does not matter. He will affect the game regardless of what he does at quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is playing the way he's playing. Brian Thomas is dropping the ball. They can't run the ball, whatever. It doesn't matter how explosive or talented you are a dependent position. We understand he can get open.
Every wide receiver, though, in the NFL.
So put him where he can be effective. You don't need nobody else to do what you do at corner.
You're saying Trevor's struggling. They're giving up a bunch of sacks. They have a ton of drops. Wouldn't you want to take your best player and feature him on offense and help take some pressure off of Trevor Lawrence? He needs a sure-handed.
He's on offense, right? He's on offense. If you got a guy that can't get him the ball, you're wasting it.
It's not that he can't get him the ball, though. Yes, he's missing some reason. I'm not trying to just come down and knock on Trevor this whole time. I think he's done some good things this year. But how do you fix that? How you fix that is reps and trust at practice. Routes on air, instead of him going and playing corner for a couple series or periods at practice, then coming over and playing a couple plays at wide receiver, going back and forth. You put him at wide receiver for the entire week of practice, the entire 3 weeks of practice, and let him get comfortability level with Trevor Lawrence, let them get on the same page. They trust each other. Now I know I'm going to start looking for you as that second option instead of trying to get it to BTJ. Now I know that I can give you a 50-50 ball and you're going to go make a play because I have comfortability of it in practice and evidence of you doing it over and over. When you just throw him in.
Versus who?
Yeah, I think we all want Travis Hunter to excel, and he's not excelling right now. Even the chat is confused. 50% of the chat right now says they want him to play both sides. So it's kind of split down the middle everywhere. Nobody knows what to do with this guy. We do want him to excel. I kind of want to move on to another young player, okay? Because the Browns finally got a win. But if I'm being honest, I think I could have played quarterback. It was a dink and a dunk. It was a handoff to Judkins. I was like, I could do that. So Gabriel, you scored 31 points, right? But this guy, he had 116 yards, no touchdowns, and rushed for 12 yards. So where was the quarterback in these 31 points? So Skip, did Dillon Gabriel do enough to keep his job?
No, but I'm not objective. Sheduer should get his shot. Sheduer is better than Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel's had 3 chances, and his QBR has declined by the Sunday from 32 to 29 to 23. Those are 3 in a row. Not very good. He's averaging 176 yards passing per those 3 games. He's thrown 2 short touchdown passes in the first game against the Vikings over in Europe from 1 yard and 9 yards. But the best thing he's done is what he doesn't do, because he has not thrown any picks and he has not lost any fumbles. And Kevin Stefanski continues to laud him. He doesn't turn it over. Yeah, but he doesn't do much of anything else either. So he is playing classically not to lose, not to make mistakes. I'm just going to be very careful with the football. I'm going to protect the football, to me, to a fault. And I threw out the Miami for all the reasons we talked about what the dumpster fire that they are. They're just a sorry outfit of an NFL franchise, and it was 31-6, and Dillon Gabriel had very little to do with it. And Stefanski continues to to praise Dillon Gabriel for how tough he is, how physically tough, and he hangs in there and he keeps fighting. Listen, Sheduer is the ultimate fighter. If you watched him, as I did, every snap at Colorado, you want to talk about physically and mentally tough. He got hit as much as any college quarterback I've ever seen for full seasons twice, 2 seasons at Colorado, and he jumped up and threw it again and again and again. I just want to see him get a chance while the season is still half alive, where the vets are still moderately, mildly invested in this. I don't want to see the last 3 games Sheduer Sanders. So they have at New England, and obviously Dillon Gabriel is going to start that game, and they will lose that game, and I think they'll lose it convincingly. And Dillon Gabriel will have a 19 QBR and throw for 142 yards and no picks and no touchdowns. And yet, after New England, they have a bye week, and it's time to see what Sheduer has. That's just me. I want this to be a fair fight when it's obviously not a fair fight, because the head coach will basically lay down his life and his job to make sure Sheduer doesn't get a shot this year, and he loves Dillon Gabriel to a fault. But I'm campaigning to give Sheduer one shot with the season still somewhere in the middle where the vets haven't gone home for the holidays yet.
Right.
That's just me.
Yeah. I'm giving him the start just based on the win. You know, they put up 31 points. They got the win, so of course he deserves to start. I'm concerned about the system. I mean, Joe Flacco goes in there and he looks terrible. And now Joe Flacco goes to the Bengals and he lights it up and they're running simple concepts, right? So Dillon doesn't give you much, but he doesn't turn the ball over, right? I think coming out of the bye, if they do lose to New England and they're coming out of the bye week, you give Sheduer 2 weeks to prepare, and hopefully Sheduer comes in and opens up the entire offense, chucking it around, rushing the ball. I just don't trust the offensive play calling right now because it's super vanilla. It's Cleveland Browns football. Pound it straight ahead, take short completions, don't push the ball down the field. So Dillon Gabriel, he's earned it up to this point because in the preseason he played well. Sheduer missed a preseason game. You know, Sheduer came in the first preseason game, lit it up. Second preseason game, I'm not sure if he missed the second or third preseason. He missed the second one, so okay, Dillon's the guy, and then Sheduer gets the third team snaps because he's the third team guy. I'll agree, Stefanski does not want to play him. He does not want to play him, but I think it sets up nicely. They're going into New England. New England's playing good ball. They got the bye week. I would take those 2 weeks, and I would say, let's see what Sheduer has before everybody checks out.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I can't say Dillon did. The Browns as a team did enough for Dillon Gabriel to keep his job. He didn't do much in this game, and that's not a negative towards him. I'm not going to knock him for that. But the Browns scored 4 touchdowns. Dillon Gabriel wasn't even on the field for 3 of them.
Yeah.
So it's tough for me to say, you know, he played great in this game. He did enough to keep his job. It's just becoming the same thing over and over right now with Dillon Gabriel. And when you watch the film, it's a lot of the same. You know, Quinshon Judkins is playing well. You know, he had 3 rushing touchdowns in this game, took some of the pressure off, and the defense is playing well. But right now it feels like Dillon Gabriel is who he is. And a part of that is Kevin Stefanski, but there's times in this game where he gave him opportunities and he's missing some of those. So the biggest issue I have with Dillon Gabriel when you watch the film is the first one is, yes, he's not turning the football over, and he didn't turn it over in this game, which is great when you have these bad weather games. You got to protect the ball, force the other team to make the mistakes, which they did. But he's still having some of these turnover-worthy throws, and he had a lot against the Steelers, and then I counted 2 more again against Miami with only 13 completions and 18 attempts. So he's still putting the ball at risk, even though they're not making a play on the football. You have to clean that up. The other thing that concerns me right now with Dillon Gabriel is he's not processing at a high level.
Yeah.
There's a play down, and I flash back on the film, down in the red zone early in the first quarter. He has Jerry Jeudy come in motion. He's running a little spot route, kind of like what we talked about with Tua, and then you have Ford going down the sideline on a wheel route. My eyes go to that corner and then that outside backer. What are they doing? If they crash down, immediately my back foot's in the ground, I go ball to the wheel. If it's not, then I reset back to the spot route. He just locks on Jeudy, who falls down, and then he still throws him the football after he falls down, and Ford is wide open down the sideline with his hands up saying, hey, I'm right here, get me the ball. Those are rookie concepts. Those are easy concepts to where you should have points on the board. Instead, we have to settle for 3. That can't keep happening. The other thing is there's no vertical passing attack. It is still screens, underneath routes, checkdowns, all of that. Again, I know he didn't throw the ball a lot, and I know the weather wasn't great, but he did have an opportunity to push the ball down the field. If you saw it, he had a sluggo towards the end of the game to Jerry Jeudy, ran a great slant route, ran a go, huh?
What is a sluggo?
Slant, and then a go over the top, got behind, had two steps.
That was for y'all, by the way.
Yeah, well, I said it right after, a slant and then a go, got behind the DB, and then Gabriel underthrew him by about 3 yards. It was a bad throw, and that's AFC North football, though. I need you to make those throws. It's going to be cold. It's going to be raining. It's going to be wet. It's going to snow. It's going to be windy. You've got to be able to push the ball down the field in those situations. He's just not doing it right now. Positives, he did have a good throw on the run, got outside the pocket, going to his left, had a really good throw on third down. But other than that, it's tough for me to say, he's doing things to keep his job. It's more so the team around him in that game played so well that he gets another opportunity. But this will be the make or break. This game against New England.
Yeah.
I need to see that you have a higher ceiling than what you're showing right now. I need Stefanski to make it a point of emphasis, not to protect him. Let's open up the playbook. See if he can push the ball down the field, because if you don't have an explosive offense and you don't have a quarterback that can lead an explosive offense, you're not going to win a lot of games, and that defense is not going to want to play for that guy. So Stefanski has to give him an opportunity, see what he can do. If he can't, and we've already seen everything that he's capable of in the NFL. I know it's 3 games, 4 games, but you start to get a book on a guy once it becomes a consistent theme. If you can't do more, then it's time for Sheduer after the bye.
Yo, everybody said it. I agree. If they're going to put Sheduer in, it should be after this game. My only concern is not Sheduer, it's this game. He didn't do nothing to lose to keep the job. He just didn't do nothing to lose it. And he's not turning the ball over. Like you said, this is a make or break game.
Yeah.
If he plays decent, just better than he's been playing, and this game is close or they win it, my only concern is we might not see Sheduer for a while. You know why? Because one thing Dillon is not doing is turn the ball over. And coming out of the bye, they play 3 teams that don't take the ball away.
Well,
and can't stop, and they can't stop the run. They're playing the Jets, Baltimore, and the Raiders.
Yep.
All they're going to do is hand the ball off and have him protect the ball.
Yep.
So if he plays decent enough, that's what scares me. But this is the make or break game, because it's like, come on, man, we seeing it. We're seeing it. And if he's like, make the switch, because you get 2 weeks to say, this is what he did, Joe Flacco. This is what he does. Now we know what he does. Let's build something around him. Give him 2 weeks to prepare and go into this game confident. He's going to have confidence. But with 2 weeks to prepare, sit in the building, sit in those meetings. What do you like? What don't you like? Coach, I don't really know. Make it fair. But coming out of the bye week with teams that don't stop the run and don't take the ball away, if Dillon is still in after this, I think it's just going to be a while.
And trust me, Stefanski is thinking to himself, over my dead body, and it may be a dead coaching body before this year is over, but over my dead body, am I going to give Sheduer a shot against the Jets and the Ravens and the Raiders, right?
Right.
Like those are 3 doable games, where Sheduer could light it up again.
And if I'm the coach, man, you don't have your future yet. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
So this is a year where, let's be honest, are they playing for a spot? No, they're not. So put Sheduer in and let's see what we got moving forward.
That's been my point.
He doesn't want to look bad.
Even if Dillon plays well,
just put him in. Let's see what we got.
Give Sheduer the same opportunity. Compare
Exactly.
and say, okay, this is a guy. Or maybe neither one of them are the guy, or maybe Stefanski's not the guy, and we've got to look somewhere else. But if you don't give him a fair shot, you're never going to know.
How are you ever going to know?
You're never going to evaluate the right way. But that's been my whole point, and I know people are on my ass. Hey, I've been in Cleveland. All right, we get it. I've been inside that organization. They struggle to do well with their quarterbacks. They struggle to do right by their quarterbacks. And that's what concerns me right now for Dillon and Sheduer, is that they're not going to be given the right opportunity or get an opportunity at all to show what they can do. And then they're right back where they started next year.
Yeah. It might be a tough evaluation on Sheduer, too. They bring him into this simple offense. They don't open it up for him. They don't let him move around and make the big plays down the field. This is the AFC North. We run the ball. We play stout defense.
Yeah.
And with Judkins running the ball, I love him. That kid totes the rock hard.
He does.
And that defense is nasty. I mean, that defense it's built to win in the AFC North.
But here's the difference. And this is why most people believe that Sheduer is the answer currently. Dillon Gabriel doesn't play well off schedule. When his read ain't there, that's why he's not turning the ball over. He's like, just give it to him.
Yep.
Sheduer's a playmaker.
He is.
He's a playmaker. a lot. You know, I even have issues with him taking too many sacks.
Yeah.
That you can't do it in this
Well,
league.
he had nobody blocking from Colorado.
However, he's a playmaker. The ball ain't. Go back and look at the first It's the preseason. Who cares? You don't look at. You know. The playbook is real vanilla. You throw basic coverages, basic stuff.
Right.
But a lot of what he did was off schedule. It wasn't. Yes, he got the ball in his hand, but a lot of what he did was off schedule. Put him in the game for at worst, which is what Jackson Dart is doing. He's playing off schedule. If it ain't there, I'm going to make a play.
Yeah.
That's Sheduer. He's going to go make a play. At least he's going to try to go make a play.
Yeah.
Dillon is just like, I'm like, do something.
Yeah.
You know, at worst, put him in for that reason.
Hypothetically, if Sheduer had started from start this year at Cleveland, game 1 against Joe Burrow and the Bengals, right now the Browns will be the talk of the NFL world, because with Judkin's emergence and with that nasty defense, it's made for Sheduer because the vets love him, and it would have lifted off. Everybody would have been excited about Sheduer making plays, trying to win games as opposed to not losing games. So again, they have their franchise quarterback sitting right there at quote-unquote second string.
Yep.
And he's the most popular third-string quarterback in the history of the
all
league.
time.
Yeah.
But that's again goes back to that point, though, and I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying we saw Flacco struggle, then he goes to Cincinnati. And
Right.
But that's why I'm worried about Sheduer.
I know the Bengals have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. The Browns don't have that.
No.
But still, you can see in the play calling and the difference that they have from one place to another.
Yeah.
No matter who's in there, that's where the Stefanski conversation comes into play. Is he going to be even given an opportunity to succeed right now? So, but I'm with you. Even if Dillon plays well these next couple of games, still give Sheduer a shot. Let him get his opportunity, compare the two, and then make a decision going forward.
It's kind of set up. Last thing, it's kind of setting up nice for Sheduer, right? They got a tough match with New England. They're going to have to score some points. They're going to have to control the ball, keep Drake May and them off the field, right?
Yep.
If Dillon Gabriel comes out of there with a bad loss or turns the ball over, it's Sheduer time.
Well, before closing up, I do want to get just one word picks. We got Thursday Night Football coming up. We're not going to be on until Friday, so I want to know, you guys, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Chargers. Both are kind of middle of the pack teams right now. So, Gerald, who do you have?
Chargers.
Chargers.
Ooh.
Chargers.
Skip, you know what that means.
Come on, Skip.
Chargers.
I'm also going Chargers. We're going full arena is going to the Chargers. I mean, Carson Wentz, they got their backup quarterback starting again.
Yep.
Tough for the Minnesota Vikings, but we will find out on Thursday, and then we're going to be right back here on Friday with so much to talk about. So catch us on Friday. Thank you so much for watching The Arena Gridiron and supporting the show.
Woo!
Yeah.